And another big one as the Padres get the first run of the day. It's 1-0.
You might imagine, Tony Gwynn Jr. and everybody out there, I did not hear from the Manny hater on Twitter yesterday about the fact that he's not clutch.
He wasn't in your DMs yesterday?
Didn't have anything from him yesterday.
Man,
no, not after another Manny Machado moment. Leads the Padres to a series win over the Milwaukee Brewers. Welcome in, everybody. Gwynn and Chris getting underway. Starting off a new week, a manic Monday here on San Diego's #1 sports talk station, 97.3 The Fan. And I was checking earlier today, and guess what? The weather outside is not frightful. And there are no chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Yet, it feels like Christmas.
Oh, I was like, it's freezing here. I know
because
that.
you couldn't figure out where I was going to go.
No,
with
it's like 12 degrees in here right now.
In here it is, but outside it is not winter time. It is not the dead of winter. It feels like Christmas. Thank you, Major League Baseball. At long last, you allow us the pleasure of seeing one of the best rivalries, if not the best rivalry in all of Major League Baseball right now. For the first time this year, the Dodgers play the Padres. And, yeah, I got to think, Tony, I mean, you're at the ballpark. It's, still several hours before the game, et cetera. But there is just a little buzz today, around town. A buzz that is normally missing when the Royals come in or all the other stupid teams in Major League Baseball sends us. So,
yeah, no, there's definitely a heightened buzz around the town. I went to Costco for the family this morning and saw a bunch of Padre authentic joints out, jerseys.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Moving around Costco. A lot of I saw one guy. I was in it was near the meat section, and I was pushing the thing, and I saw a Dodger guy, an older gentleman with a Dodger shirt on.
Mm-hmm.
And I never do this. This is kind of like how out of the kind of on the fly I was going to. I never ever do that. But I was too lazy to change at that point. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna run in here real quick.
Okay.
And so he saw my Padre jersey or shirt. I saw his Dodgers shirt, and he said, "How about them Dodgers?" And I said,
"Okay."
We're gonna find out about them tonight, my man.
We are gonna find out.
We both chuckled and went our ways, and there was a lot of that today. A lot of
You're nicer than I am, Tony.
Big series today, Tony.
Yeah, you're nicer than I am. I was driving to the station today. Everybody knows it's a very short drive for me.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact,
where are we going with this?
You can literally throw a rock from your house.
I can look. I see your house right now.
Used to be a 5-iron, but now that I hit the ball better, it's an 8-iron.
Oh, here we go.
But no, I was buzzing on over here, and I saw one of our gardeners in the neighborhood out doing a little work in the yard out front there, and he had his Dodger hat on, so I ran him over. And so there's a gardener with a Dodger hat lying in the ground. Don't worry about it. He should be okay in about 3 or 4 hours. No, look, you see the Dodger hat, and your first thought is, hey. Come on.
I saw a Dodger semi.
Wear that carefully right now. This is all serious for the next few days.
Driving down here, guys, I saw a Dodgers semi, all painted in Dodgers colors, Dodgers logo on the door. I'm like, how I don't know I can't say what I want to say on the radio, so I can't figure out the words.
Well,
but
just say it and beep it.
How lame do you have to be to be driving down your Dodger semi? Come on, hey, how lame do you have to be to make a Dodger semi?
Dodger fans are they're going to be out in spades tonight, I'm sure. I don't know what the Padres have done about keeping the tickets away from Dodger fans. I guess we'll see what it looks like in the ballpark tonight, but I am certain it will be yet another sellout. And, finally, I mean, look, we've been waiting all year to play these guys. And, I think if put it however you want it, but I'm pretty sure if everybody was said back in, spring training, Tony, that we'd get to June 9th, Dodgers would be coming in for the first meeting of the year. And if the Padres beat them tonight, they go ahead of them into first place in the standings. I think people would have taken that from the Padre perspective. don't you think?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
We-
right.
we were
just win
supposed to
tonight.
be-
We're on
The
top.
whole division was supposed to be 30 out by now.
Yes,
So
right.
absolutely.
It was over. Right.
Yeah, it was over when the season started. So yeah, they would take if the Padres win today, they'd take being tied at first place. Everybody would take that for sure. So listen, I think it's a good time to despite the offense not being what it is. I think this road trip was good for this ball club before coming into this series, right? I mean, they had all 7 of those games, as we discussed, were 1 or 2 run games. And
6 of them were 1 run.
Most of them were all like 3 runs and below. Like there were not a ton of runs being scored in these games. And so I think it prepares you for what this series could very much be. Now, baseball is one of those sports where we could just have 3 explosive games, 7, 8, 7, 9, 8, high numbers. It definitely could happen, but I'm excited for this series. I don't know that I put any focus on it honestly until I got a whole bunch of stories to tell you guys when it's my turn on the segment side, but just to say, ever since we were sitting on the tarmac, that's probably the first time I actually thought about the matchup. I had, these games, you go to these games one by one, at least I do. And, considering we were in San Francisco where you knew those games were going to be tight, we got to Milwaukee, all of those games were tight. I didn't really have space for the Dodgers in my head. Now, since about 3:30 Central Time, PM, I've been kind of excited about this matchup. I think it's going to be a fun series.
Yeah, Padres come into it having played, as you said, Tony, a lot of, playoff type games. You go back a month here to May 10th, and tomorrow's June 10th. So it was a month ago that the Padres beat the Rockies in that 21-0 game. Since then, the Padres have played 26 games. 16 of those games have been decided by 1 or 2 runs. 10 of them have been decided by 1 run. And here's the best news of all. Of the 16 games that have been decided by 1 or 2, the Padres are 11-5. So they're playing, these kinds of games. More importantly, they're winning these kinds of games. And by and large, they find a way to come out on top. I mean, yesterday, all they got was Manny. How many big pitches did they make in that game to keep Milwaukee, from scoring? I mean, the Brewers seemed like they had a chance every inning or every other inning. And, Matsui gets a big one there. And, on down the line, Jason Adam, who hasn't been, Jason Adam that we're used to. But, man, he came up big yesterday. So, you keep finding a way. I know you lost the game Saturday, and that was disappointing. But even in disappointment, you still got a 2-out, 2-run double in the 9th inning to tie the game. It says a lot about your ball club. I know you ended up giving up the home run, and that was, a bummer for David Morgan, but that's okay. He'll learn, and he'll make that next pitch next time. That's okay. It was a good, fast 90. He threw it 98 miles an hour. The guy hit it out. Credit to that guy. That's all I can say.
It wasn't just that it was 98. It was 98, and it was above the zone.
Yeah.
Like, these are things that have to happen in order for guys to learn and get better. And that's the thing that I enjoyed on that road trip is that the bullpen has been – the usage is high on the bullpen, or at least these guys are throwing a lot. And to see different guys step up at different moments when they had their opportunity. Sean Reynolds stepped up twice in that road trip, whether you were the 3-inning outing, and then you had him really fill Jeremiah Estrada's role in last night's game because he was down. You mentioned Matsui. He pitched a 9th inning in a game on this road trip, and he pitched a big spot in this game yesterday. And those aren't roles that they typically are pitching in, but because guys were down, the Padres, I think Mike Shilton's staff, they chased some victories in that road trip. They got them. And then the consequence was that they couldn't use those guys the following day. And so guys had to step up, and you're starting to see it. We saw it on the offensive side early when all those guys were out hurt, people stepping up. Now it's the pitching side. It's not that guys are hurt. It's just that guys are being not overused, but their usage is high. And so you got to have guys step up. And on that road trip, it was 4-3. I know it's not as pretty as the 7-2 joint they had earlier. But this was a good, solid 4-3 road trip in my
four
opinion.
wins on this road trip. 4 wins, as you said. 2 of them were picked up by Matsui. One was picked up by Peralta. The other was picked up by Suarez. You go back to
that was a 2 innings
win.
outing at that
2-inning win there. Morejon got a win in the Pittsburgh series. In the Miami series, Morejon got a win there. Estrada got a win in the Atlanta series, as did Jason Adam. What I'm saying, those are the last 5 series. They've gone 4-0-1 series-wise. The bullpen is getting most of the decisions, but that's fine with us, right? We want games to be decided by bullpens because we're going to win most of those.
Yeah. And now you're starting to create some depth with – and listen, I know David's had a mixed bag of results. You know, he gave up 2 homers. But he's also punched out the side. That's a guy that I think they're hopeful can be an additional arm, right? You start having depth in that spot. Whew, man, that bullpen's just going to get stronger.
For all the people that are like, oh, he's terrible, send him back down. Like, these are valuable reps for him for later in the season. And he looks the part. I mean, that's another thing is like, he doesn't look like he's a bad pitcher or anything. He just couple
he got ambushed. He got ambushed the other day. That's pretty much it.
Thanks for the insight there, Ruben Niebla.
You're welcome. I was just making sure you guys all knew.
Yeah, right. I appreciate that. All right, we're underway. Dodgers are finally here. We'll talk more about the series, plenty about Game 1 tonight. Nick Pivetta will be on the mound, Dustin May for L.A., and, it's a good buzz going in. We're ready to roll here. Padres are right there with the Dodgers, a game back. First place is at stake tonight. Glad you're with us here as we get rolling on 97.3 The Fan with Gwynn and Chris.
Hey, it's Skraby, and I'm here with these things. It even tells you, hey, there's a canyon over here. Don't hit it here.
Skraby from about 45 feet. His caddy tells him to play it a little to the right. He's been playing well so far today. 4th hole. Nice smooth delivery. Hit it too hard.
Sasquatch.
So Chris says that he can't play golf, but this is the second birdie putt he's made for us. This time it was like 20 feet.
Thank you very much, Chris. But once again, you're hitting some very nice shots as well. I'm not usually complimentary to you, but can't help but be complimentary. Your shot making today.
With my what?
Your shot making. You hit some.
These things. It even tells you, hey, there's a canyon over here. Don't hit it here.
Skraby from about 45 feet. His caddy tells him to play it a little to the right. He's been playing well so far today. 4th hole. Nice smooth delivery. Hit it too hard.
Sasquatch.
So Chris says that he can't play golf, but this is the second birdie putt he's made for us. This time it was like 20 feet.
Thank you very much, Greg. But once again, you're hitting some very nice shots as well. I'm not usually complimentary to you, but can't help but be complimentary. Your shot making today.
With my what?
Your shot making. You hit some.
These things, it even tells you, hey, there's a canyon over here, don't hit it here.
Skraby from about 45 feet. His caddy tells him to play it a little to the right. He's been playing well so far today. Fourth hole. Nice smooth delivery. Hit it too hard.
And 50 in the third inning yesterday, and now number 351, an add-on shot in front of this hostile crowd in Milwaukee. The Padre lead is 2-0.
He's not clutch though. Not clutch at all.
Well, he's also, according to the host of this show, or one of the hosts of this show, way behind on his power numbers. I think somebody was concerned about that about a week or so ago. Don't remember who. One of the co-hosts of the show, though.
Okay, well, it's not me then.
It's me.
Oh, okay. Me. I was like, I don't remember saying that.
No, I was like, when's he going to get
more
more
than... it was the whole time.
Yeah, I know. Tony knew. I was like, when's he going to get more than 3 homers? Well, he's over now. He's kind of rolling again.
He is,
and he's
back at it.
I mean, look, if he, this is crazy to think, but could he add a batting title to his collection of things that he's accomplished in his career?
Mess around and find out.
Yeah, right. That's not something anybody would have imagined.
No,
coming into any season.
Couple things I want to not address, but talk about, if you guys don't mind.
Yes, please.
First of all, shout out to the Mount Carmel baseball team, runners up in the state finals. They ended up losing that.
Pretty impressive to get there, though.
A very, very impressive season this year. So shout out to those boys, man. They a lot of those guys. My daughters obviously go to that school, and I know the head coach very well, and I know that they have endured some tough seasons. Some of those seniors on that team, and so for them to get a chance to experience. Seeing it through from start to finish is pretty spectacular. So shout out to the boys Mount Carmel baseball team. That being said, I have to share this story with you. Last night, Chris was later on today. We recorded our Big Five. You guys will get a chance to hear it. But Chris will bring up in that Big Five. There's a segment talking about how we travel. Well, last night was one of those times where traveling regular would have been better.
Better than the old
chartered flight. I mean, You guys are on the Roku game. It started early.
So first of all, we're on the Roku game. So that already starts the day off kind of.
Yeah. Wait a second.
12.
Wait a second. Was there actually a game played yesterday? I didn't even know it was like a tree falling.
I didn't watch the game at all on TV yesterday.
No, I had no idea. No idea until I saw the highlights later in the day.
Doing there. Yeah. Yes, it was a Roku game. So I don't know. Maybe you guys didn't get a chance to see it, but Roku game starts at 12:10, an hour earlier than normal. And it may not seem like a big deal, but that's that's hours earlier buses. That's an earlier wake up call. So guys are kind of like not feeling great about it. But the bonus is, well, shoot, we'll get out of here early. We'll get back into San Diego, be able to possibly, spend some time with your fam before, they got to go to bed. So our early bus, which is the media, left at 3:30, I believe the time was yesterday. We get to the airport. We go through the quick TSA check. How it works. You get off the bus. They got a little iPad. You show them your real ID, not a Costco card. Everybody, not a Costco card. I don't know if you saw this,
yes.
But TSA literally had to put out a tweet that Costco cards are not real IDs.
What do you mean?
So exactly. What do you mean? So yeah, real ID. And so occasionally you get the little red when they tap your name, it turns red. Guess what? You got to go to the check line. That was me. That was me yesterday.
Okay.
So I get on the plane. Everything's going well. Having my vegetables and my fruit, because SD fat loss is still rolling along here.
By the way, you're looking quite trim, my friend.
Yes. Thank you. Doing all right. Although this road trip wasn't a good one for me.
Challenge.
I'll get to that in a little bit.
It's a challenge.
At some point, we start to hear we have a flat tire.
On the plane?
On the plane. And so this ain't a regular flat tire. Like, you're not just going to get out the plane and, like, jack it up.
Where's Gavin Sheets? He knows how to change tires. We found that out.
Wait, I got to get to Were you actually flying?
No. Thank God we weren't.
Because you can't land with a flat tire. You guys would still be up there.
Like 5 tires, Chris.
No,
never.
So, but this is not like as I said, this is not a normal deal, right? We're on the private side of the airport. So there's a whole bunch of what's a good word for this? There's a bunch of obstacles that have to take place now because we are not on the regular side of the airport. We're a Delta flying team, which typically means if you're on the regular side, the Delta team comes out, about 5 folks come out, they help change it. We're on the private side, so that also means private people coming to fix the wheel. So my man pulls up, it's just one guy.
Oh,
mind you, this wheel is like, it's the size of me. Right. It's not small. And we have to all get off the plane because he can't jack it up. It's too heavy.
You had to get off the plane?
We all got off the plane.
Oh boy.
And now we're on the tarmac. And if you guys don't know, if you're around a bunch of baseball players, they all have somewhat of a ADHD kind of thing happening. Like, they can't stand still for too long. So we're out there probably about 15 minutes. A bottle cap baseball game starts to crack off on the tarmac, right? It's just the players are over. Just a few of the players over there.
We must have a minute so that you can explain bottle cap baseball to us.
It's really not that big of an explanation. Look, I'm gonna take this bottle cap off.
Yeah.
You take it and you fling it, right? And you got a bottle, right? You got a bottle.
Yep.
That's your bat. And they found a way to make some bases, and these guys are out there just trying to kill time.
That's kind of awesome.
Wow.
Meanwhile, my guy is looking like he's struggling with this tire.
Oh no.
Mind you, we got there at about 3:50. We ended up on that tarmac until about 9:45 when our flight left.
What? Come on,
Yeah.
6 hours?
Yeah. So it was close to 10.
How come? Okay, I see every team like the Yankees. Oh, the Yankees were stuck in Florida today because their plane had something going on. Where are all the people that are concerned about the Padres and their plane? Come on.
Yeah. Listen, let me tell you, my man had to jack out. And you could just tell, like, and mind you, there's a bunch of people watching him. I'm sure this was not like the easiest job for him to do at this point.
A bunch of professional baseball players.
Eyes are on him right now. Like, nobody's taking their eyes off. He is struggling to kind of get this thing pumped up, to get this. So eventually, he fills the tire up a little bit so that he can kind of get the tire in the air. Eventually, the tire gets on. We get back on the plane. That probably was about 7 o'clock. We get on the plane, and we didn't take off for another. Took off at 10:01. Landed almost exactly midnight Pacific time.
Man,
that started out as a great day, 12-10 matchup. We're going to get home early, and it turned into an absolute nightmare.
Can I just I want to say
I feel for you,
yeah,
Tony.
I do too, because we've all, I mean, any of us have come home on a Sunday from anywhere and we've been there.
Not only that, just 5 hours of sitting around
on the tarmac. I'm so glad that I was with a bunch of people that have a good sense of humor, because it could have got ugly real fast.
That's what I was going to say. First of all, you were able to get off the plane. I mean, and you had to get off the plane because otherwise it might have just made you sit there. Secondly, if that was the Gulls hockey team that I used to travel with, your guy, my man, your guy.
You?
No, the guy trying to fix the tire
fixer.
He would have been mentally tortured beyond recognition by these hockey players. He wouldn't have been able to pick up a wrench after an hour.
Chris, I promise you, I was so happy that they were playing bottle rocket baseball,
so they weren't getting on his case.
They weren't on my man.
Yeah,
because if they would have been on my man's, I'm sure it would have been trouble.
Yes, we had.
we would still be there for sure if they would have been ragging my man, because he was already struggling because it was just one of them.
Why is there only one
by
guy
the way,
changing a plane
there were
tire?
about 5 other people that, like, I don't know if they worked in that area, but they were just watching him, like just kind of looking at him doing his thing. It was funny in the moment. By the time it got to like 9 o'clock, it was like, man,
that's not funny anymore.
This is no longer
you got
funny.
like a 3.5 hour flight. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Tony
texted me at 7:30 last night, and I was like, oh, how nice. Tony's home. He's probably just checking email and stuff. No, he's still in Milwaukee.
I was literally, when I sent you that text, I was literally on the tarmac, like just kicking it at that point. I'm trying not to watch any of the movies I've downloaded because I need them for the actual 4-hour flight that we're about to go home with. But it was and there's the other trick part. I already don't like to fly. You guys know this. My man put that tire on, and I don't know if he forgot something, but he had to take it back off. And at this point, all kinds of thoughts are going through my head. This is the first flight that I actually put my seatbelt on when we landed, because I was not 1,000% sure that tire was gonna stay on.
That is brutal. That is absolutely horrific. Like, I cannot imagine. And I thought everybody got home in like a good time.
It harkened a story from 1994, the very last game of that season. I was there. We flew back from Houston. Same exact thing happened, except in '94 there was no such thing as a dry plane, and so when we sat on that tarmac for like 7 hours, there were some very ornery baseball players that were willing to cuss any and everybody out that came back and didn't have news about the plane leaving. Fortunately, this is a dry plane, so you didn't have to worry about that. Everybody kept their cool. But yeah, man, it was a long day yesterday, to say the least.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Dude. That's a hang with them, and it's beyond a hang with them, but I've been there. So I know I know where you're at. It's
all right.
Too bad.
I'm just concerned about the one guy. Like, come on, you can't get two guys to help him.
I was concerned too. I mean, at one point we pulled up our own YouTube video to see how you actually change an airplane tire, and that was honestly gave me comfort, because I was seeing him do stuff I just watched in the video. Although as fast as I watched in the video, it still gave me a little bit of comfort that he was at least in the ballpark of where he should be.
Wow.
All right, let's get to break. We'll cover this Padre Dodger matchup. See if we got some lineups possibly. But
we do have a Padres lineup we'll give you on the other side.
There it is. More Gwynn and Chris.
Gwynn and Chris on the
Dodgers Padres. First meeting of this season. By the way, may not seem so because the Dodgers did win the playoff series, but remember the Padres snapped a long streak last year of having lost the regular season series to LA. I don't remember how many years in a row it was. It was like 13 straight seasons or something.
It was a lot
that the Dodgers had won the season series. Of course, the Padres won it last year. But I'll take what happened in 2022, right? I'd rather the Dodgers win the season and the Padres win the playoffs. So we'll see how it starts out tonight with Nick Pivetta, Dustin May. And I think it gives you just a good idea of what the Dodgers, where they're at right now. At least what I read this morning, unless it's changed. Dodgers starting pitchers for this series, TBD tomorrow, and no better than Justin Wrobleski, just up from the minor leagues, pitching on Wednesday. So Padres have been, a little fortunate on stuff like that. I mean, you're going to miss Yamamoto in this series. Kershaw pitched yesterday. Obviously, there's no Blake Snell or Tyler Glasnow or Roki Sasaki.
2010 was what you're looking for on the series win.
The last time the Padres won the series, 13 years ago, which is about what I said. Thank you.
Book it.
Good job, Chris.
You're welcome. So anyway, Padres are set up, with their three most reliable guys at the moment, Pivetta, Cease, and Vasquez. Day game on Wednesday. I just wanted to go ahead.
I was going to say, I think, good for the Padres on that, right? This is they just ran through a road trip where they didn't miss anybody's ace. They got all of the Giants' good pitchers, and they got Freddie
Peralta yesterday.
He's good. Yesterday.
Yeah,
he's their best pitcher.
Yeah, it always turns out pretty much in the end. But we did miss Skeens, and we're going to miss these guys. But, look, these games are going to be fun. They're going to come down. The funny thing is we can break it down as many different ways as we want. But it's going to come down to probably a couple of things. First, the pitching, obviously. You get good starting pitching, you win. Your bullpen is lights out, you win. And then the other thing is runners in scoring position, right? The Padres win when they're hitting with runners in scoring position, and they don't when they don't. And the same is probably true for the Dodgers. Interestingly, too, Tony, the Padres have hit 42 home runs this year in their wins. Only 14 home runs in their 27 losses. So 3-1 margin home runs when they win as opposed to when they lose. We'll see how it goes tonight. And I won't even bring up the stat.
I think that's a misleading statistic.
You do?
Because the Padres were like 15-2 and 3 and had like 2 homers during that point.
Yeah, I'm going to leave it out because I know that you disagree with it, but so I won't even mention Dodgers have hit 19 3-run homers this year and the Padres 3. Oh, I'm going to
leave it out.
Oh, sorry, I just mentioned it.
Yeah, I'm going to leave it out, but here it is.
I'm going to leave it out, but just in case you forgot.
By the way, Padres have not hit a grand slam this year, nor have the Dodgers. Just throwing that out there.
Where do you come up with this stuff?
I have a lot of time on my hands. I didn't have as much time yesterday as I normally do because I watched that tennis match, and I do want to get into that in a second. But are you kidding me? Yeah, that
tennis matches were really good.
They were both good, but yesterday was epic and probably will be talked about like for ages as one of the greatest tennis matches ever played.
I actually felt sorry for my man Sinner. He looked like he was going through it when he was sitting on that bench at the end after he lost.
Yeah, that's what happens when you lose a heartbreak. I think he's going to be heartbroken for a long time, and then after a while, he's going to go, man, I was lucky to be a part of that one. Yeah, because he's going to be. It was. I mean, first it was epic, 5.5 hours. That's just the start of how epic it was. Considering that I once ran a marathon in less than 5 hours myself, they played longer than that. Secondly, the twists and the turns were insane.
Crazy.
Sinner was up 2-0. Alcaraz got broken early in the third set. Looked like he was just going to get swept. And he battled back to win that. And then in the fourth set, something that you never seen a championship. Alcaraz was on the doorstep and was down love 40 on his serve. So he had to win 3 straight points or it was over. And he won them all. And then he held the game. And then he still had to break Sinner serve in the next game. And he did that. And then he won the tiebreak. And now we're in a 5th set. And the interesting thing to me was by the time they got to the 5th set, it looked like Sinner was a broken man. Like he couldn't.
He was a broken man.
Right?
For
he
sure.
was. And so Alcaraz started to move in for the kill, and he broke him early in the 5th set. And it looked like he was just going to finally cruise because Sinner got off the mat and came back and ended up tying it up and sending it to a last tiebreak. So a lot of what reminded me of a great scene in the classic movie Rocky, where Apollo Creed in the first movie, where Apollo Creed knocks Sylvester Stallone, knocks him down for about the 8th time in the, at near the end of the fight, and he just keeps knocking him down. And finally, Apollo Creed is over in the corner, and he's kind of starting to celebrate a little with his handlers. And then he looks over, and Rocky not only gets up, but Rocky's waving him in. You remember this at all?
Yep.
And Apollo Creed goes like, "You have got to be kidding me." That's what this match was like. It just seemed like it was over so many different times.
Are you kidding me?
And both guys were incredible. It's being, it's being compared to, Borg and McEnroe and the classic Wimbledon, anything that Federer and Nadal ever did. It was that good. And I wanted to say one last thing because we know this guy. Brian Anderson was the play-by-play guy for it.
Yep.
And it takes a special talent to not Joe Tessitore that match, which is to say, "This is incredible," and just keep saying it over and over and over again.
Showtime!
Thank you. He called it perfectly. And I just can't speak to that enough because he could have ruined it by being over the top because it was so over the top just on its own. But he did a perfect job. John McEnroe might be the best. We talk about Barkley as being the best. I think McEnroe's right there with him. He hits the right note every single time.
Yeah.
And I really it was for 5.5 hours. And Lori was watching it with me. We had things to do that just got put on hold for an hour.
That was going to be my question. Did you watch it on DVR?
I did. And
so wait, okay. Hold on. You can put it on pause and go do your things and come back.
Yeah, but we couldn't leave. It was too good.
That's how good the game was.
It was so good. And
match.
there was one last little thing that I had to deal with. I taped the DVR the match, and I gave it 3 extra hours of coverage.
Oh yeah, because you can extend your coverage so it doesn't get cut off
in case.
Yeah.
Well, I had 6 hours of coverage. The final point of the match happened 2 minutes before my DVR ended.
I'm a clown.
I almost was. My point being, I almost didn't get to see the end after all of this time.
That was a feature that DirecTV added late. They didn't have it at first, so it would only go a certain distance.
Yeah.
And you don't know how many Laker games I had cut off like in the middle of overtime because I didn't have the extension that you need. That's heads up thinking on your part there, Chris.
Yeah, but it almost wasn't enough heads up thinking because
that would have been your fault.
I'm like,
you put it for 6 hours. I mean, that's ridiculous.
But man, that was something. It was a classic, and it was beyond. McEnroe hit all the right notes, and he's just said within about the 5th set, McEnroe said, "This is a great match if you're a tennis." And then he stopped himself and he goes, "You know what? This is just great if you're a sports fan."
Yeah.
You didn't have to be a tennis fan. This was incredible.
I guess that's why I didn't like it because I'm not a sports fan, right, guys?
What, did you not watch any of it, or did you just not think
honestly,
it was good?
I just saw it pop up on my phone, and I didn't realize how great it was.
It really was
because I didn't see anything about that. But I will go check out highlights now.
The twists and turns were just insane. It was over 10 different times. Only it wasn't. Great one yesterday. NBA Finals last night. Not as good. As the tennis, kind of a typical, to me, game 2 where the favorite lost game 1 at home. They just come back in game 2 and They got it. Oklahoma City did what they had to do, and they controlled that game. Indiana was never able to really get into it, which didn't surprise me too much. I was expecting that. So
yeah,
1-1.
It's right where it's supposed to be, right? The playoffs don't start till both teams win on the road, or until one team wins on the road. So the playoffs started after game one.
Yeah,
and so we'll see how it goes. The Thunder were much better in yesterday's game than they were. They finished the job, I should say, this time around.
And the two heroes for Oklahoma City, although, again, this is my fault because I don't want to love SGA, and I really should start appreciating him more. But he gets all the credit because he had a great game and an MVP, and he's in the headline. He had his typical game, if you ask me, 34 points. That's what he does every time. But the guys who did not have typical games were Caruso and Wiggins off the bench, scored 38 points for Oklahoma City. Yeah. And I thought that was a big difference. Caruso's my guy. We know that. And he scored
my
20.
Guy too.
We
should have never gave him up.
No. If Caruso gets 20 points, that's money found. He wins you the game without scoring 20 points. Anyway, good series, 1-1 back to Indy for that. Skraby's got the lineup. We kind of alluded the lineup, so let's go, Skraby. What do you got?
All right. We are going to start off with Fernando Tatis Jr.
I can't believe they're still batting him leadoff. In fact, when is he going to the minor leagues?
Oh, no, that's Padres Pen Pal question.
Oh, we're going to address that in Padres Pen Pals.
Which I thought was an astute question.
Astute, huh?
You thought that was an astute question.
Oh, everybody be ready for Padres
to
Pen
the minor
Pals.
leagues?
Everybody be ready for that because there's a lot of conversation.
Well, he's not just going to the minor leagues alone. I'm pretty sure Jackson Merrill's going with him. But go ahead.
Yes, Fernando leading off, playing right field. Luis Arias playing first base, batting second. Manny Machado playing third, batting third. Jackson Merrill in center field, batting cleanup. DH is Sheets, batting fifth. Bogart, shortstop, sixth. Cronenworth, seventh, playing second base. Wade, eighth, playing left field. And then Diaz catching, batting ninth. And Pavetta's on the mound.
Dodger lineup is not yet out, at least that I have. Dustin May will pitch for LA. I want to ask you this, Tony. Maldonado gets the call with Berger yesterday, and he seems to get the call with the young guys. So that is telling me something that, Mike Schilt wants his, incredible acumen behind the plate when the young guys are pitching.
I think your read is 1,000% correct.
Okay.
Maldi is a baseball savant.
He must be doing things out there because honestly,
I'm telling you,
he must be doing things that the fans and I are not seeing. Really,
you guys won't see it. That's because a lot of the stuff you see only is swinging the bat, throwing the baseball. Right? I mean, he let one ball get by him yesterday that I thought he should have, but for the most part, man, he does a great job blocking. He controls the run game, but it's how he sees the game. I don't know. Check him out on days he's not playing. When that camera goes in to see Mike Schilt, almost every time they go there, Maldi is standing near Schilt. This is a dude who wants to be a manager when it's all said and done. And so I think that's exactly what you're looking at, Chris. Mike trusts him a lot when it comes to especially the younger pitchers on the staff, whether it's Vasquez, whether it's Bergert we saw yesterday. He's typically the guy that does it. That doesn't mean he doesn't handle some of the veterans too, but man, his worth is his mind. That's where he is being able to get the playing time he gets.
Because frankly, Diaz is hitting a little better, but a little better. But I think Diaz defensively, at least from what I see, has been better than I expected. So my point is I'm always a little surprised to see that they keep sharing time almost 50-50. But I've started coming around to the realization that it's because Maldonado does things I don't see.
Yeah, I mean, Diaz is not out hitting Maldi by that much.
Right.
So, unless you have a situation where it was like Higashioka last year where it was a clear difference offensively, it's a push offensively from my standpoint. Defensively, I think Diaz has been better than I think anybody thought he was going to be. But I still think Maldi's the better guy still at that point. But Diaz is in the lineup tonight. So
right. And what about these two guys that pitched over the, look, Kolick followed by Bergert. The Padres, you've got to give credit somewhere to some coaching and minor league people that are somehow getting these guys ready to go. I know that they have the talent. You've got to have the God-given talent. But for how many pitchers come up to the Padres that we have all never really heard of, unless you're one of these crazy savants who looks at single-A rosters. But they all come up and they look like they know what they're doing. And I that's what I see with Bergert. He's out there. He looks beyond his years almost. Kolick, the same thing. We saw it last year with Waldron. Somewhere somebody's doing a nice job. And then, when they get here, Niebla and those guys take over. But I don't feel lost with these guys pitching. And so many teams bring up guys to take a roster spot for an injury, and they don't get this kind of pitching. So
I think that this is what it looks like when you have a cohesive message and kind of direction you want your staffs to go in, right? That's why it can look like – just think about some of the teams that seemingly never run out of pitching, right? You can count this team that the Padres are playing against today. The Guardians come to mind as a team that no matter what their offense looks like, they seemingly pitch. There's a few teams out there like that. Seattle's another one that's kind of popped up on the radar. I think that's what you're starting to see from the Padres. They don't have maybe some of the top-tier prospects that kind of go along with that, but you can't say that Ryan Bergert hasn't come up here and been impressive.
Really impressive.
We watched him in spring training, didn't think much of it. He comes here, he looks exactly like he knows what he's doing. He pitches like he's been here before. And the same has gone for Kolick. And although he's had a little bit more experience under his belt because he pitched out of the bullpen for a good chunk of the season last year, this is all what it looks like when you have some talent mixed with the right message and direction you want your pitchers to go, so that when they come up here, they could just fall right in line with everybody else. It's been impressive to watch Kolick and Bergert, specifically Kolick, because of what we saw from him last year. He was out of the bullpen, pitching a certain way. He's come up here. It hasn't always been like perfect, but man, I tell you what, man, he's shown a lot of moxie in these last couple starts where he's gotten in some early trouble, pitched his way out of it, and just, he's shown some marbles.
Yeah, it's working. Padres' last 10 wins have been by either 1 or 2 runs, so I would expect nothing different tonight. Just to reacquaint ourselves with the Dodgers, we got a minute or two before the top of the hour. We all know about Shohei. He's got 23 homers. He's got 11 steals this year, so he's not running quite as much. Andy Pages has emerged here.
Year 2, he's feeling a little more comfortable this time around.
12 homers now.
Wasn't it just earlier this year where fans were calling for him to be removed from the lineup because he couldn't play center field?
Of course. Mookie Betts
there you go.
Mookie's been battling a little injury bug, but he's still got 9 homers, 274. Freddie Freeman is hitting 345. So, I mean, he's incredible. OPS is 1,000. Max Muncy, after a terrible start, has picked it up. He's got 9 homers now, 235 average. Michael Conforto still hasn't yet picked it up. 3 homers, hitting 170. Anyway, little reacquainting with the Dodgers. Hyun-Sung Kim has come up and done okay. Guy's hitting 414 in limited time since the Dodgers brought him up. All right, game 1 of the series tonight. More Gwynn and Chris ahead. however you want to look at it. The Dodgers are finally in town. Welcome back to Gwynn and Chris. Hour number 2, our Monday get-together. Tonight, the Dodgers and the Padres. First meeting of the year. Embrace it, enjoy it. Right? We don't get many anymore. It's taken till the 65th game to finally see the Dodgers. But the good news is the Padres win tonight. They move past the Dodgers into first place in the National League West. And as Tony and I talked about already, Tony's off getting a little stuff done before the pregame. He'll be back. But as we talked about, there's not a single Padre fan anywhere who wouldn't have taken that deal back when the season started, because the Dodgers are supposed to run away and, hid by now.
Yep.
But it hasn't happened. It's not really because the Padres have played incredible, 37-27, very good record, but not incredible. But the Dodgers are just, 12 games over 500, and there's a reason for it. How about Tony Gonsolin, Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, Roki Sasaki, Evan Phillips, Blake Trinan, and Brusdar Gratterall? 7 pitchers. Got a couple of Cy Youngs in there. You've got every guy there is an all-star or has been or, real close to it. Sasaki isn't yet. But
not even close for that guy.
I know. You hate him.
You know what? He's also ducking us.
He's ducked us. Him and Skeens. They won't pitch
against us. It just hit me.
Yeah.
Remember I said I would be I would be out at Petco Park leading the boo.
Yes, we'd be booing vociferously tonight if he were on the mound.
This is crazy.
I just think for fun, I'd introduce the lineups and have them run out on the field before the game.
So we can hear Sasaki
get mercilessly booed by the foam fans. But if he's here, I don't even know if he's here. But those are 7 potentially really good pitchers. The Dodgers don't have any of them right now. 4 starters, 3 relievers. Evan Phillips is out for the year. Blake Snell, God love you, Blake. I'm such a fan as a former guest on this show, but I don't know what you're doing. Like, are you playing? Are you trying to get better? I don't even know where Blake Snell is. Now, I know in September he'll pop up.
He'll show up.
And he'll be ready to go.
And he'll throw 9 innings and strike out 15.
Exactly. But where is he right now? I don't know. Glass now is just glass. He's always hurt.
I know. So. It is ironic that his name has the word glass in it.
Anyway, so look, Padres got to get him while they can here in that sense. And somebody remind Fernando Tatis Jr. that the Dodgers are in town.
We're aiming for the big cake, man.
Hey, Fernando. I want to hear that Fernando again.
We're aiming for the big cake, man.
What team has Fernando Tatis Jr. hit the most career home runs against?
I'm going to guess the Dodgers.
You're wrong. I thought it was.
Thank you.
I know.
Is it the Diamondbacks?
Yeah, he's got 20 against the Diamondbacks.
Wow.
But he's got 19 against the Dodgers. So surprisingly, his average career against the Dodgers only 264. I thought it was a little higher than that. But 19 home runs against the Dodgers. And obviously Fernando needs to get going. We're going to talk about it, I think, in the Padres Pen Pals. I mean, people are getting absurdly impatient with Fernando right now, but it's the way it goes.
I'll preview the question. Is it time for Fernando to go to AAA?
Yeah, that's absurd in itself. But, you need Fernando, right? I mean, I looked at the
yes, you do.
You need him to be doing things, right? He's a very important part of this team. It's funny we spend all of our time complaining about, well, left field's kind of, our catchers don't hit much, and this guy can't do that, and our benches, and we forget that the season is ultimately going to come down to the performance of guys like Merrill, Machado, and Tatis.
Yeah.
They've got to be the ones. And after hitting 345 through April, Fernando 184 in May, 185 in June. So I guess the 185 is better than 184, but
I know.
Not much.
I know.
Yeah, and he's got 5 home runs in the last month and a half. We had 8 in the first month. All right. He'll get it going. I'm confident tonight is the night. Meanwhile, Skraby and I will get it going with the Daily Gambit. Lots to look at.
Do you like money?
I think about money a lot.
Do you like money without doing anything?
Winning.
Do you want to make money while watching sports?
I think Washington is immortal luck.
Washington! Woohoo! If you answered yes, this is your segment. Just don't blame us when you lose.
Nothing is ever your fault.
It's your game. Take it.
Gwynn and Chris go through the top bets of the day in the Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Daily Gambit is our daily sports betting segment here on Gwynn and Chris. Please, everybody, gamble responsibly, and we mean that. Padres and Brewers. Oh, you know what was really good too, Chris, over the weekend? Not as good as the tennis final, obviously, because the games weren't that good, but the PGA Tour Canadian Open, RBC.
That's a good one.
They had like a 4 or 5 hole playoff, and the guys just kept going back to the tee and coming back. Right. And then after like 3 holes, they ended up moving the cup so that they got a new look. And they showed you how they moved the cup on the TV. It was pretty fun.
What do you mean moving the cup?
Like the pin. They moved it so that
they're playing the same hole over and over again?
Over and over and over.
So they moved the, okay.
Because they wanted to keep the fans in one spot.
Nice.
And so, yeah. Okay. Anyway. But not as good as the French Open final.
I know Rory McIlroy wasn't involved in that because he was 12 shots off the lead when he, got in his car and drove off like he always does.
Gosh, you hate this guy so much.
The whiny little guy he is.
All
Rory. You know that my wife's really good friends who we stayed with when we went to Denver a couple weeks ago. 2 great dogs, like 2 of the great dogs. Like just run up, they love you.
One of them's named Rory.
One's Rory, and the other is Mac. Ford McElroy. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
They must really love Rory McElroy.
Rory and Mackie.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like Mackie.
I like the dogs. I don't like the golf.
Okay. Padres and Brewers. Over, under 8.5 total runs on Friday night. You said under. I said over for some stupid reason, and it was 2-0 Padres. So 2 runs scored on that one. Chris wins. Dodgers in St. Louis. The Cardinals were -1.5 on the run line on Friday night. Both of us chose the Cardinals. Both of us were right. The Cardinals won 5-0. Then the Mets were in Colorado to play the Rockies. They were -1.5 on the run line. We both picked the Mets. Mets barely covered this one, but they did 4-2.
They covered much easier in the other 2 games.
Yes, they did. They did. Detroit or Scooble on, was it Friday or Saturday? Friday night. Over under 7.5 strikeouts. You went under. I went over. He had 6. He went 7 2/3 though, and had 6, which is tells me that the Cubs are pretty good.
Yeah, but they, I think the Tigers won that series over the weekend.
I think they did.
A matchup of top teams.
Doug Eddings, which we'll have in the Big 5, had a hand.
He was
in that.
been a part of it yesterday. Yes, for sure.
Edmonton -1.5 on Friday. This also fantastic game.
The first 2 games of the Stanley Cup Finals, neither of them couldn't be any better so far. Game 3 is tonight, but the first 2 have been really good.
Oilers were -1.5 on the puck line. You picked the Panthers. I picked the Oilers. Panthers win 5-4 in OT.
The guy who scored the game-winning goal Friday night for Florida, his name is Brad Marchand. He is a veteran. He's been with Boston for years and years and years. Florida traded for him at the deadline. He's one of those guys that if he's on your team, you love him.
Oh.
And if he's not, you hate him. He is the ultimate pest. The little guy gets under your skin, elbows you, then skates away and gets away with it every time. But, man, when it comes for a key moment, he shows up. And he had the game winner in the double overtime. Certain guys just have that ability, and he is one of them.
They were feisty, too. Lots of fights.
Yeah, good games. Good games so far.
In the game, was it over under 6.5 total goals? You went under, I went over, and it was over because they totaled for 9. And then the final between Sabalenka and Coco Gauff. Sabalenka was -3.5.
Yeah.
Games.
Good win for Coco.
Yeah, Coco Gauff wins it, and I chose Coco Gauff. But
good job.
Yeah, very good win for her.
Good job, Coco, in the women's, and it's going to be overshadowed because that men's thing was so incredible. We don't have enough time.
We
to
got
go
one
through
more.
These. Oh, you got one more, and then we'll do the picks in a minute. But go ahead.
OKC minus 11.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And you pick OKC. I pick the Pacers. OKC wins 123-107.
Yeah. All right. So that series is at 1. The Stanley Cup's at 1. The tennis was incredible. Skraby was watching the golf.
Are you kidding me?
Thank you. All right, we got you. On
I
that.
keep
The
doing
tennis was that good.
It's the only tennis drop I have.
Thank you, Joe Tessitore. I mean, really, Joe Tessitore would have had a heart attack calling this match.
I didn't know Brian. That's impressive.
BA is so good.
Being able to call
smooth.
Being able to call like a different sport like that on national television is not easy.
Well, this was just about striking the right chord. Okay, and that match needed somebody who could hit it, say enough things to remind you just what you were watching was incredible, but not overdo it. And he and McEnroe were really good, and the whole match was good. And Spike Lee, good thing the Knicks are out of it. He was in the front row.
Oh, great.
I guess Spike Lee just gets front row to every sporting event.
Well, I
in the
guess
world.
when you have nothing to do and you have lots of money, that's
sure.
I would do it too, maybe.
Yeah, Dustin Hoffman was a front row, and he was sitting down the row from Robert Kraft. It was a lot of who's who.
Wait.
Yeah, Robert Kraft was there.
Why was he there?
Watching the match.
Okay.
It's a hell of a match.
I don't know why this bothers me, but it bothers
you
me that
for
Robert
some
Kraft.
reason.
I was watching Runaway Jury with Dustin Hoffman.
Pretty good one.
Did not know that he was like 5'3" or something.
5'3".
He's very, very
Dustin
short.
Hoffman is a short man.
I did not realize that.
That is correct, sir. College World Series, by the way, 7 of the 8 teams have qualified. One more berth up for grabs today. The classic matchup between Duke State.
Oh, we love it.
What is Murray State doing there with a chance to go to the College World Series?
They have a great athletics program.
Evidently they do. All right, we'll have some picks for tonight's action when Gwynn and Chris continues. 3:20 is the time. Chris Hello. Tony Gwynn Jr. will be back with us shortly. He's down at Petco Park. I'm headed there after the show. And all roads lead to Petco tonight. Padres, Dodgers at long last. Finally getting together. This Friday, the manager's report. Mike Schilt will get together with Ben and Woods at 9 a.m. Manager's report refreshed by Eco Water SoCal. Try alkaline water for just $9.95 a month. Eco Water SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. It's a long time. It's 100 years of soft water. You're welcome. We'll have our roundtable, I believe, Thursday.
Yes.
At 10 a.m.
Yes.
So something to look forward to. Sam Levitt's pregame show coming up today, following our show at about 5:40 this afternoon. One last item to mention. June 22nd, for my birthday, we are giving you a chance to win tickets to see the Padres-Royals game.
Can you tell that I can tell that you're a birthday guy, because I wasn't even working the show last week and I heard your birthday mentioned.
I'm not a big birthday guy. It just seems that, I recognize the date and it keeps coming up.
Oh, that's true. Okay, fine.
So June 22nd, Padres Royals. These tickets are not theme game tickets, just so you know.
We need to make that clear.
Yes, we are making it clear. Those are regular tickets, but Star Wars weekend will be June 20 through 22. Padres host Kansas City. Friday, June 20th, special Star Wars Beer Fest presented by Southwest Airlines. I love this. I didn't write it. Grab your fellow Jedi and enjoy $5 drink specials, live music in the Gallagher Square before the game. Saturday and Sunday, meet your favorite Star Wars characters. And don't miss the Kids Fest on Sunday, thanks to SDG&E. So Saturday, I'm assuming Chewbacca will be there, and Han Solo, and all of they're all going to Yoda, I guess. They'll all be there, all your characters. All weekend long, you can purchase special theme game packages and receive a game ticket plus a Xander Bogaerts X-Wing fighter bobblehead.
I want
that lights up.
I want this.
You can. All right. We'll try to see what we can do.
But that's a theme game, I believe.
Join us for galaxy-sized fun. Secure your seats at padres.com/tickets. So that's all June 20th through 22nd. We have tickets to give away on the 22nd. Remember, they're not the theme game tickets, but still regular tickets. You're going to get in, enjoy the ball game, give you a chance to win those a little later in the program. All right, picks for tonight, and then we got a Dodger lineup to share with you. Dodgers are favored tonight by 1.5 runs over the Padres. I'm going to pick the Padres, if for no other reason. A, I want them to win this game, but B, even if I feel it's going to be a one-run game, because every Padre game lately has been a one-run game, right?
Yes, it has.
So you might as well take a run and a half on the run line.
I will. I'm going to take the Padres as well.
This seems like another easy one, but you never know. Dodgers, Padres, 8.5 runs over-under tonight. What say you?
Can't remember which one you said, Tony or you.
I don't know.
But it's like it could be a 2-1 game or it could be a 11-10 game.
Well, it can always be that. I hate to tell you.
No, I know. I'm going to go under.
You got to go under. 7 of the last 10 games that the Padres have played, neither team's gone over 4. 7 of the last 10. That's pretty consistent, low-scoring games.
That is very consistent.
Strikeouts tonight. Nick Pivetta, -1, or Dustin May. So if you take Pivetta, you got to give 1 strikeout. I will take Pivetta. I always picture Dave Roberts tumbling out of the dugout like in the 3rd inning to take his starting pitcher out. So I don't think Dustin May will be around long. I hope he's not. And Pavetta's going to give me 6 innings, so I'm going to bet Pivetta here. What about you?
Pivetta
-1 against Dustin May in the strikeout
I'll
department.
go Pivetta. I'm not putting any bad vibes in the world for this game tonight.
By the way, both the Dodgers and Padres have identical road records coming in. Not that they're both on the road tonight, but Dodgers are 16-16. Padres are 17-17. So both are 500 on the road this year. Padres are 20-10 at home. Padres are also 27-10 against the National League. Let's hope that holds up. Shohei Ohtani versus Manny Machado. Total bases. Who do you like here? That's a tough one. Manny has been hot, but Ohtani's always one swing away from 4 total bases in a hurry.
He's very annoying in that way.
Yes, he is.
I'm going to go Manny. I'm not putting any bad vibes.
No bad. All right, I'll take Ohtani here just for make it interesting. But Manny's been great. Chris Sale, 7.5 strikeouts at Milwaukee tonight. Sale for the Braves. Braves have been in a bad way again. They've lost 7 in a row.
Did you see they DFA'd Craig Kimbrell?
Almost before he got there.
He pitched 1 inning, didn't give up any runs or hits or anything, and then they DFA'd him.
Not quite sure where the Braves are.
I don't know either.
Days. They're 10-23 on the road, the Braves. The only team worse than that is obviously the Rockies. Braves are on the road tonight. Chris Sale. I'll say under just because of that.
I'll go over because he's very good.
He is good. Florida -1.5 over Edmonton tonight. Game 3. First 2 games went to overtime. Now the scene shifts to Florida.
Good job on those words.
You're welcome. The scene shifts.
That's a tough one.
Yes. Who do you like here?
I'm going to go Panthers.
Going to give 1.5 goals. They got to win by 2. I have a feeling they are going to win by 2. They're at home. 6.5 goals tonight. First 2 games have gone over that total. Not tonight. They'll go under. Florida wins 4-2, I say tonight.
I'll go
Skraby,
over.
You'll go over. Which goalie makes more saves in the game? And if you can name either goalie, you go right to the head of the class.
I can't.
I will name them for you. Sergei Bobrovsky.
I was just about to yell out some Russian name, too.
That's him for Florida. And not Russian, Stuart Skinner for Edmonton. Who gets more saves? Meaning the other team is going to have more shots.
Yeah.
Is it the Florida goalie or the Edmonton goalie with more saves tonight? Skraby?
I'm going to say Florida goalie.
Florida goalie, Bobrovsky. I will go with him as well. Edmonton tends to get more shots. Okay, we got the big college baseball matchup. I previewed it. Duke trying to get to the College World Series. 2.5 run favorite over Murray State. With all due respect to Bob Bollinger and Duke fans everywhere, I got to go with Murray State. You got to root for Murray State to make the College World Series.
I'll go with Murray State.
You're going with them as well.
Because it would mess up the SEC. I know the Duke is the ACC, but it would mess up that.
The SEC got 2 teams into the College World Series this year, Arkansas and LSU. That's good, but it's not as dominant as people think they are.
No, not at all.
Finally, WNBA action tonight. The LA Sparks at home are 7.5-point favorite over the expansion Golden State Valkyries. The Valkyries actually have a little better record than the Sparks. 3-5. The Sparks are 3-6. Who do you like here? I know you're a Northern California guy.
Yeah, I know nothing about
club.
I know nothing about the Valkyries. I'll go Sparks.
I'll take the Sparks because of Kelsey Plum.
Is I can't remember her name. Cameron Brink, is she back?
I think so. She was hurt all of last year.
Yeah,
I think she'd be back. By the way, the WNBA has been a little quiet lately because Caitlin Clark's injured and so is Paige Beckers. But in the meantime, Minnesota and New York Liberty are both undefeated at the top of that league. One is 9-0, the other's 8-0. All right, break time. And then Padres Pen Pals. And what are we going to do about the struggles of Fernando and Jackson Merrill? We'll discuss it when we come back.
Ben and Wood.
at home. It's nothing new to me. I'm sure they have fun.
What's it say about the success that you've had the last few weeks, despite having to grind it out, injuries, that sort of thing? You guys did find a way.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes baseball is slow, but you got to expect that we're going to heat up at some point. So, we're just sitting here ready to go at some point. It's going to burst open, so be patient.
Jackson Merrill there in the cleanup spot tonight as the Padres take on the Dodgers. Skraby pointing out to me during the break, you probably are aware of it, or maybe you don't always think of it.
Just kind of hit me.
Right. Jackson Merrill grew up in Baltimore, and guess who was a star for that team when he grew up?
The guy was hitting directly in front of him.
Manny Machado.
That would be very weird.
You think?
I think it would be at first, like, it's hard not to be starstruck, right?
Well, I don't know. I used to listen to you on the other station when you were just starting out, and now working alongside you.
You had no idea who I was.
Not easy to do. Not easy at all, I must say. 3:36 is the time, Crisello. That's Skraby. Tony Gwynn Jr. here shortly as we'll get into the Padres Pen Pals. I do have a Dodger lineup. There are no surprises here. Shohei, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman.
That's the Dodger lineup.
That wasn't nice. I mean, Mookie Betts I like. Freddie Freeman I like.
do.
You want to hang on. I'll give you a second. Teoscar Hernandez.
I don't have an
Will
opinion
Smith.
about him. I don't like him.
Now, Max Muncy.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
I mean, Will Smith. They're calling
God.
Profar irrelevant.
Yeah, right. Andy Pages 7th, Edmund 8th, and Haesung Kim batting 9th. Haesung is in center field tonight for the Dodgers. Andy Pages is a left fielder tonight. Conforto's not in the lineup. That's who's out. And, he's hitting 170, so it makes sense. Padres got some guys struggling offensively, though. Jackson Merrill referred to it there. He is one of those struggling. Fernando, as we mentioned earlier, Padres are not scoring at all, yet they're still winning. That's the good news about it. Go 4-3 on a road trip and never score more than, 3 runs in any game? That's pretty, you'll take it.
Yeah, you'll take that.
Maybe
every
they
time.
had 4 runs one game.
Do you believe? Okay, so the team kind of said, Manny kind of said, we just played playoff baseball for the last week.
Well, that's a good way to look at it.
That's what I'm thinking,
right? I think you'd rather be winning 7-2, but you understand baseball doesn't always go this way. To me, the good teams do find a way. To win when they don't have any of their cylinders going.
Yeah.
And the Padres are far from having too many cylinders going. But getting her done. We'll see if they can do it tonight. We'll check traffic. And then Tony on the Padres Pen Pals, where I know we are going to discuss the struggles of Fernando and Jackson.
Yes.
Merrill.
Roman Anthony, Chris, is going to be starting for the Red Sox.
Yeah,
tonight.
This is a big deal.
Yeah,
for the Red Sox fans. Maybe it'll be a big deal for the Padres because his presence is why people keep saying that Jarren Duran will be traded by the Red Sox. Although Roman Anthony is in right field tonight, Jarren Duran is in left field. So they're both in there tonight.
I saw this video of them trying to sneak Roman Anthony out of like a minor league facility, and there were so many autograph seekers outside of the back door. They put him in a laundry bin, Chris, and put the laundry over him and then rolled him out to the car so that no one could get an autograph or bug him about that.
I'm looking at a shot of him on television right now. I don't see any bright lights or aura around his body. Is he the second coming or something?
Ted Williams, I believe.
Okay. Well, good luck to you, Roman, on that.
All right.
You ready for our segment?
I am.
Okay.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Eliminate Termite. Got a few problems here, guys. One is a stalled vehicle on the Hamishaw off-ramp south on 125. Also on eastbound 94 at Hamishaw. We have reports of a collision blocking the slow lane and crash on westbound 52 near the Summit. That's being cleared over to the right shoulder. Have termites? Eliminate Termite inspects, treats, and repairs termite damage, all with a full structural warranty. Their orange oil treatment is safe for people, pets, and the planet. No tent, no move out. Protect your home naturally. Schedule a free inspection at eliminatetermite.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's time to ask the experts, Padres fans.
I was hoping maybe you can bring a little insight into it.
Write us, tweet us, Facebook us, send a carrier pigeon for Chris. He thinks they're cute.
Aww.
Padres Pen Pals begins.
Hurt the pelota big time.
Now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we got a couple questions. We got 4. We'll see if we get to the 4th one, but let's get right into it because we have so much to cover today on Padres Pen Pals, and we're going to start with this one. And Chris, you're up first. With Steven Kolek and Ryan Bergert's great outings over the weekend, I had a question about expectations. Right now, a Kolek and Bergert start is let's hope for the best. Instead of saying, quote, we'll see if he can be as good as his last couple starts, quote, end quote, when can we change it to, quote, we expect this guy to give up only 1 or 2 runs, end quote. Chris,
what?
You're up first.
Yeah, this is
basically what this person
Can you
is
just
asking.
tell us that you made this one
I
up
did
so
not make
that this
this
is
up.
not the property of somebody else out there?
This is the property of someone else out there, and I kind of agree with them. Like, when can we go into a Steven Kolek and Ryan Bergert start thinking, all right, this guy is good. He's only going to give up 1 or 2 runs.
This makes no sense.
It makes sense.
It makes no sense.
People
because
are nodding their head.
Any pitcher 10 years from now can give up two or 10 runs in the first inning.
Basically, they're asking, when can they go from unproven to proven?
Yeah, okay. Next year, maybe. Next year.
Okay.
Yeah, next year. And maybe 2 years.
You don't need to be offended by this
I'm
question.
offended.
You are very offended.
There's no way you're going to make a Ryan Bergert start in October, in the first game of the playoffs and expect him to twirl a shutout. He's going to take
been pretty
long
good
time.
in 2 starts.
He's been great. It's been fantastic. I love it.
All right, Tony, when can you go
But
from
this
proven to
question is
unproven?
idiotic.
Yeah, people on the
I'm so
camera
happy
just
you're back,
saw.
Skraby. We missed this for like a whole week.
I did not.
No kidding, man. Frank made up really good questions.
That's not the name of this game, Chris.
Frank brought to us only good questions.
That's not the name of this game. Tony, what do you think?
I think that you should just enjoy the starts right now. Both of these guys are relatively young and inexperienced. Not relatively, are young and inexperienced, but they've gone out and thrown the ball well. Berger has looked awesome. He is giving you all that you could ask for, I think, and some in terms of how he's thrown the ball. In terms of when it's like expected, it's kind of like Michael King when we heard a whole bunch, but we didn't know what we knew until he did it. And then he came into this year with the expectations, like Chris said. So
True.
If he finishes the year like he started next year, when he is having a shot at the rotation, he will have those type of expectation. And you can then move your, how did you say that, Skraby?
Proven to unproven. I'm not going to go.
There we go. That was a better way to do.
Yeah.
From unproven, then you can change it to
proven.
More proven.
Proven-ish.
Proven-ish.
Man, I hope everybody can go back and look at the Padres Pen Pals to see Chris how angry he was at this question.
I don't even know that Nick Pivetta qualifies in this category yet, honestly.
Okay.
Done it for 2.5 months. He's been great, but still got to keep proving it.
Yeah,
almost every
pitcher, soon as someone has a bad start, it's this guy stinks.
Yes,
exactly.
Almost every pitcher has to continue to prove it.
When is he going to be put out of the rotation is the next question from that same person who asked me this question. Tony, you're up first on this one. This actually really is a question from a fan, so do not yell at me. This is going to sound a little crazy, but with Fernando slumping as much as he has lately, would a trip to AAA help him?
No.
I figured that was your answer.
Do we have to expand on that answer at all? Really?
No, I don't think so. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I guess,
he would go down to AAA and he would hit 500.
And then he would come back up.
And he'd come back up here, and there may or may not be anything changed. So, no.
Okay, that's fair. Chris?
Fernando's not going anywhere. He got a day off. That was the best thing they could have done. And let's let him. I mean, look, the Dodgers are in town tonight, right?
Yes.
Fernando's primed and ready. He always tortures them.
He does. He wakes up for the biggest moments.
Yeah.
Okay. Whew, we made it through that one. I was really nervous about that one. Not the first one, but the second one.
Thought you'd get yelled at for relaying that
This
question.
one I also might get yelled at for, but here we go. Chris, you're up first. This person wrote in, I hate to even say it, but I think Jackson Merrill is sophomore slumping. I read over the weekend a few quotes of his, and one stood out about not pressing. He said, quote, I'm not pressing. I haven't been pressing. I've been fine. I just haven't been seeing the ball. I've been missing the ball, end quote, which I like that little quote from him. Chris, when do we say a sophomore slump might be happening?
A sophomore slump, to me, is at the end of the season. And we look back and we'll go, well, he had a bit of a sophomore slump. So I'm not really worried about, categorizing what's happening to Jackson right now. I do appreciate him saying exactly what he said because as an observer, just seems he's missing the ball. Like, I don't see them doing anything crazy. I don't see him being all that fooled by pitches, really, every now and again. But looks like he's having a good swing at good pitches, and he's just not hitting them. And that's that to me is okay in a sense because I'm almost sure he's going to change that eventually, probably sooner rather than later. At least he doesn't look like he's lost up there or doesn't have a clue in the batter's box. It just seems like he's swinging at pitches he normally hits against the fence, and he's fouling them back or he's popping them up. So, this is sophomore slump is just a nice phrase that you can use at the end of the season. Because nobody thought he was having any kind of slump, in April and May, and when he first came off the injured list.
No, he's in like 400.
And he could very well get turned back around, and I kind of expect him to because, like I said, he doesn't look out of sorts, just not getting the result that I'm expecting.
As Luis Arraez said, it's very hard to hit the baseball. Tony, when do we say a sophomore slump might be happening for Jackson?
Yeah, it's the end of the season. If you said that right now, you clearly aren't paying attention to his numbers because his numbers would tell you that he's better than he was last year in some regards, right? He's on base more. His slug is below a little bit. His average is better than what it finished. So that's why you got to wait till the end of the season to be able to really compare notes. I think he's a better defensive center fielder than he was last year. And so, yeah, man, I think his answer is very telling. And Chris kind of alluded to it. That's what I'm seeing as well. I don't see him. He's chased out of the zone a few more times than normal. But for the most part, he's getting off good swings. It just looks like he's not seeing it. And lo and behold, what does he say? I'm not seeing the baseball right now. And so, it adds up. 1 + 1 = 2, listening to what he said and what we're seeing. And so I think as opposed to like a mechanical flaw, not seeing the baseball can turn just like a light switch. Mechanics sometimes, that's can be a work in progress. In terms of seeing the ball, it can just change on one whim.
Yeah, I hope it does soon for my fantasy team.
Well, with all, look, Pete Alonso opened the season as the MVP through the first month and a half.
Yep.
I don't know if anybody noticed, but for about a month after that, he hardly got a hit. And then last week, he hit about 9 homers and drove in 25 runs. This is kind of what happens in baseball to almost everybody. It just seems like it only happens to our guys.
Did you have something, Tony?
Yet we talk about it every year like it's a brand new thing.
Yeah,
every year we talk about it like, oh my God, so-and-so is really struggling. It's going to be the end. Every year we do this.
Well,
sorry.
The more success the Padres have, the more, I don't want to say uneducated fans, but new fans head to the Padres.
I don't think that's it.
It's just reactionary.
Yeah,
okay.
There it is.
Reactions.
It is. We just react. Everybody's reacting.
Here's the last one. Tony, you're up first. My wife keeps taking, this is actually like really a sports court, but my wife keeps taking baseball advice from her friend who doesn't know anything about baseball. I love that she loves the Padres, but whenever she comes home from a game or she watches a game on TV with her friend, she always has really annoying questions after. Like, quote, my friend says that Fernando is slumping because he is sad he signed a contract so early. Or, my friend said that left field is an easy position to play, so I don't know why they can't find anyone. End quote. Yeah, your friend who's never played any sports in her entire life said left field is easy. I'm so annoyed by this. Tony, how do I tell my wife to stop listening to her?
I think you just got to say, babe, you got to stop listening to your friend. She doesn't know anything about baseball. And yeah.
That's it. just no ambiguity.
I think you should stop getting frustrated with your wife because, some guys would love for their wives to even bring up baseball to them.
Yeah.
The fact that she's asking you questions is a good thing. Why don't you be the one that feeds her the good information?
Yeah.
So that she's not listening to her friend that is has never played a sport in her life. So I think you can control this a little bit more. I don't think you should get frustrated with your wife. I think you should help her. Explain to her. Left field may be an easier position than maybe shortstop, but it's not easy per se. And if it was just playing left field, then it wouldn't be a problem. But you also have to hit and do some of these. Just take the time to explain to your wife why that is not a good statement.
But my friend said it was.
Sit here at the table. I'm going to teach you a couple of things. Secondly, you should feel very fortunate, as Tony said, because the dumb questions that she's asking right now are a whole lot better than, why do you think Myra chose Jim to be the bachelor instead of taking Joe when he was clearly the nicer guy? I mean, these are the kind of things.
Those are important questions too.
They're not. And these are the kind of questions I get. The Real Housewives question, the Bachelor question.
But really, would you want to get in these in-depth conversations with Lori about baseball?
If she was genuinely interested,
and she constantly asks questions. Some are not great, some are better than others, but she wants to learn more. Okay. And so, this is what we do. I think Tony's advice is perfect.
Okay. All right, sir. You just need to tell your wife to stop listening to her and listen to you instead. That is
Don't say it like that, though.
Yeah,
don't say it like Skraby.
Don't listen to your dumb friend.
Well, the other thing is the guy asking the question may not know that much either. He may just think he does.
True.
I mean,
that's true.
Let's keep that in proper perspective.
To say that Fernando is slumping because he is sad he signed a contract so early is wild. It's like that is making some massive leaps in your thought process there.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Chris versus the fans. Up next, 833-288-0973. Get in line to play Chris in trivia for a qualification to a trip to Las Vegas. Next.
Padres Dodgers today.
0-2, swing and a miss.
Pregame 5:40. First pitch.
Fan, took me pretty much that entire break. Shake off those Padres Pen Pals questions. Should we send Fernando to the minors? Really?
Everybody thinks it was me. I did not ask that question.
Is Jackson Merrill, is it time to call it a sophomore slump? These are overreactions. Check back with me July 9th. Then maybe they're not overreaction. If Fernando hits 180 again this month,
then send him to AAA?
No, but at least we'll have to talk. Jackson Merrill, no home runs. It's only June 9th, but no homers, 2 RBIs, 212 this month. So, but again, I brought up Pete Alonso as my example there, but that's just the one that sticks out. He's not the only one. Pete Alonso was the MVP through April. In May, he was really bad. Now he's a player of the week, just named right now. 15 RBIs last week, 5 home runs. So baseball goes like this. I expect Fernando Jackson anytime now. Tonight would be a good time as they take on the Dodgers. By the way, a little later in the program, not now, a little later, going to give away 2 tickets to the Padre Royals game on June 22nd. If I were you out there, I'd be getting brushing up on my Royals trivia. You know how I am on
that's
giving
what I do every day.
Yeah, most people check on the Royal trivia.
Yeah, when they get up in the morning,
it's the first thing they do.
First
thing. Hang on, I'll be down for breakfast in a minute. Gotta brush up on my Royals trivia.
I mean, the Royals have had great teams over the
a couple,
but for the most part, they've been pretty terrible.
Yeah, they won 2 World Series, which is
more than the Padres have.
Than the team that I root for locally. Royals and Padres do have one thing in common. Do you know what that is, Skrabe? Or do you know what I'm thinking? They both. What is it? What do you think it is?
Am I allowed to say it?
Sure. What do they have in common?
Maybe I'm wrong now, but
no, I never.
Hunter Renfroe.
Well, they both did play. Hunter Renfroe played for both, but I'm looking at both the Royals and Padres came into being in 1969.
Oh, that's
They're
not
both
what
expansion teams in the same year.
Interesting. I did not know that.
The other 2 expansion teams that year no longer exist in the names in which they started.
The Expos?
The Expos are now the Nationals. The other team that year was the Seattle Pilots, who the very next year, 1970, became the Brew Crew.
I actually like the name of the Pilots.
Seattle Pilots.
But Mariners makes sense too.
I like Mariners, but the Seattle Pilots, if you're really interested, those little, I don't know what you call them, they're little feathery type marks that are on your sleeve as a Navy person or on your hat. Do you know what I don't even know what to call them.
I'm not in the Navy.
Somebody in the Navy can help me.
Yes.
Anyway, the Seattle Pilots had those on their hats.
Oh, okay.
Those little
tassels?
Yeah, I don't know what you'd call it. Somebody will text us.
Yeah, put it in the chat.
Somebody chat.
Chevrons?
Chevrons.
That's what Rod's saying.
Similar.
I think Rod was in the Navy, though.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite a chevron, but maybe Rob. I don't know. Somebody knows, but the Seattle Pilots had them on their hats. That's something I remember anyway. Let's do Chris versus the fans here. Play some real trivia and win some prizes.
If you had one shot, one opportunity to take down the human almanac himself,
howdy do.
Now is your time.
Listen to me, this guy is dangerous.
Now is your opportunity to win a prize.
Well, I hope you know what you're in for.
Chris versus the fans starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right. I don't know if you can see these things. What? This is what I mean. Like on the bill of the hat here. What is that?
Oh,
What
it's
do you
like,
call those?
I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
just
I don't
going to call
either.
them decorations.
Decorations, yeah. The Seattle Pilots had those.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Interesting.
Into Chris versus the fans. You got to. The prize is lengthy.
I'm getting
I
ready.
read it all last week, so you can read it today.
All right, you'll be qualified for a chance to win the grand prize, the spa and pool getaway at Resorts World Las Vegas, home of the largest elevated pool complex on the Strip. You will receive a 2-night stay at Resorts World Las Vegas, dine poolside at one of the 5 unique pool experiences, and experience the ultimate in relaxation and wellness at Awana Spa, one of the largest co-ed spa facilities in Las Vegas. To book your summer stay, please visit rwlasvegas.com. Now the rules, you have to make it through 3 questions. Each question will get more difficult. If you get the question right, you move on. If you get the question wrong and Chris gets it right, you're eliminated. But if Chris gets it wrong, then you move on to the next question or you win. If you're a first-time player, let us know before you get into it, and you'll get that first question for free today.
You know how we overdo stuff on this show?
Yes.
I'm going to overdo this.
Okay.
I looked up what they call the markings on the naval hat.
Okay.
Some people actually call them scrambled eggs.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting right here.
Scrambled eggs. The official name would be a golden oak leaf embellishment.
Okay, I like scrambled eggs better.
Kind of like scrambled eggs better, but that's I see what they mean. That looks a little like scrambled eggs.
Yeah, Rod, Scott, and
thank you guys for that.
Someone else I can't read.
Classification
0173.
Some people say classification symbols. Anyway, all right.
Well, I'm just going to call them scrambled eggs now.
Me too. I'd never heard that before, so I'm going to call that. Apparently, you have to be a certain rank to be permitted to wear scrambled eggs.
I'm assuming you have to be pretty high up.
Military hat.
I'm assuming pretty high up.
You know, sometimes we come out little fun stuff that I think I like.
Yeah.
That's one of them.
I learned something today.
All right, let's play ball here. Did we do the first-time player thing and everything?
Yes, we did.
Okay, we're ready.
And these are all Frank questions.
Oh, okay.
So we'll
I'm
see how they
ready
go.
for those.
All right, Luis, what's up?
Hi, Luis.
What's going on?
Not too much. You ready to play?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. Question number 1. Name one of the 2 teams playing in the Stanley Cup Finals.
One of the 2. You didn't even need them both.
Nope.
Florida Panthers.
All right.
Florida
there we go. Getting to question number 2. Ooh. What is it called in hockey? No. I'm going to save that. Who is the only Major League Baseball player to hit 2 grand slams in a single inning?
This came up last week, but it's okay. I'll give it.
Oh, it's a question.
Fernando Tatis
He's
Jr.
got it. He's got it. Luis is on it. You can't take it.
That was asked last week?
It was, but that's fine.
All right.
Frank obviously forgot to discard it.
Well,
okay.
Yeah, and you guys said Frank was better than me. So.
He's not.
Okay, here we go. Question number 3. Which NBA team drafted last week's guest Chase Budinger?
Good question. He was on the show last week. Chase Budinger, La Costa Canyon product.
That's right.
Played in the NBA for 9 years. Do you know who drafted him?
Do you know which team drafted him?
Really tough question. I got to be honest, Luis. This is a tough one. I would just take a stab at it.
Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and guess the Utah Jazz.
Utah Jazz. I could see him being a Jazz
He
member.
could be, but he's not.
I have a feeling you know this, by the way.
I do, because I looked
phrased
it up. I looked it up when we had him on. I would have never known this because he never played for them. Yeah, sorry, Luis. He was drafted by the Pistons. He ended up playing mostly with the Rockets.
Sorry, Luis.
By the way, Chase Budinger, great guest last week.
I listened to it.
He did a great job.
I love your question about where did they get the sand.
The sand, yeah. I wish I could have gone this weekend and seen all that sand at Viejas Arena. I didn't get a chance to.
Yeah,
I heard it was a good event. A lot of people went and had fun. So.
I was like, man, that is a great. Where do they get the sand?
He didn't really know. He just said,
why would he?
I know he just plays on the sand. He doesn't have to. He's not responsible for trucking it in.
No, but I bet you he asked.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Next contestant, Patrick in San Diego. Hello, Patrick.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Good, Patrick.
Good. You ready to play, Patrick?
To have you with us?
Ready, man.
All right,
He's
here
ready.
we go. Sticking with the theme, name one of the two teams in the NBA Finals.
One of the teams in the NBA Finals. That's
the Oklahoma City Thunder.
The Oklahoma City Thunder.
By the way, I did see a highlight last week. Evidently, the people in Seattle,
yes,
the Sonic people, because the Thunder transferred.
Yes,
they used to be the Seattle Supersonics. It surprised me, but the Seattle Supersonic fans in mass are rooting vehemently against the Thunder. They do not want them to win.
That is weird.
I just thought that was weird.
Was it the ownership that took them?
I don't recall all that. They have problems in Seattle with the lease of the building type of thing.
It was like
and
a
Oklahoma
city.
Oklahoma City got a team because they were a temporary home for 2 years for the New Orleans franchise, and they did so well that the NBA was like, well, as soon as the team's available, we're going to ship them right in, and that's what happened.
Yeah, the Hornets were all over the place for a little bit.
But the NBA, the Sonic fans don't like the fact they feel Oklahoma City stole their team. So they're rooting against them.
I kind of feel them, though.
Yeah.
A little bit. All right, here we go, Patrick. Question number 2. Hopefully Frank deleted this one.
We'll see.
Which Olympic athlete has won the most medals?
He did.
Okay. Is it still fair game or no?
Fair enough.
All right, Patrick. Which Olympic athlete has won the most medals?
Who's won the most medals, Patrick? One athlete.
Mark Spitz.
Mark Spitz. Interesting question. Or interesting answer.
I'm sorry, Patrick.
Unfortunately for you, Patrick, you're obviously a little older, and you remember Mark Spitz. He won 7 at one Olympics, but he can't hold a candle to Michael Phelps in the overall category. Is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Patrick. Michael Phelps ended up in the 20s somewhere.
Adam was telling me that they did lose their team, and it's kind of like, it's basically like what goes on with the Chargers.
Yeah,
here.
it's like, but I don't like, if the LA Chargers were in the Super Bowl, would we all be like at a sports bar cheering against
Probably.
them? Okay.
Probably.
Because that's the way it was in Seattle last week when they showed a shot when the guy hit the Halliburton won the game.
Yeah.
This place went crazy.
That's crazy. That is
in
crazy.
Seattle. Yeah, they were all excited.
All right, we're going to a new contestant, aren't we?
Yeah.
All right, let's go to our next contestant, Jaime or Jamie. Is it Jaime or Jamie?
If it's me, it's Jamie.
Jamie.
If it's me, it's Jamie. It's
that's
you.
my nephew.
It's you, Jamie.
5-year-old nephew's name, Jamie.
Well, I bet he's happy to know that.
A good-looking kid, then.
It is a good-looking kid. Thank you, Jamie, for playing along. Here we go. Question number 1. Okay. Who hit... Actually, sorry. Let me start this over. Who was responsible for the only run in yesterday's Padres game?
A young man named Manny Machado.
Manny Machado.
All right. By the way, are Brewers fans just dumb? Because they keep booing the guy.
Well, he stepped on the guy's leg like 12 years ago.
Jesse told the story, and Jesus Luzardo doesn't even care, and so it's like, why do they care?
12 years ago.
And Tony said something really smart.
Fans
he said,
have, memories.
He said, half of these fans probably don't even know why they're booing. They're just booing.
That's a fair point. Most of them probably at this point don't remember it.
All right, here we go, Jamie. Question number 2.
And plus, it was a Dodger when that happened too, so it's really...
That is doubly, triply bad.
Exactly.
Give me 2 of the 3 horse races that make up the Triple Crown.
2 of the 3. Don't even have to get them all.
Kentucky Derby and the Preakness.
There we go. For fun, do you know the last one?
Of course he does.
Do I get a bonus point for the last one?
You do not. So you don't have to.
The Belmont, and that was won by...
was that over the weekend?
Sovereignty, the winner of the Kentucky Derby, came back and won the Belmont this year.
But is it true that the Preakness, they're not racing in the Preakness, so they can't get the
Well, he didn't race in it.
The Preakness already happened.
Yes.
Okay.
He did. Sovereignty won the Derby, did not race in the Preakness, so the Triple Crown was out of the question.
Okay, this is probably
very disappointing. Very disappointing.
Right.
I'm really disappointed
Me too,
Jamie. I wanted to see that Triple Crown.
A lot of people want to see it. They're careful with horses, similarly to how they're careful with pitchers these days. They used to just run the horses anyway.
About that.
Right. They didn't
Pitchers have a choice. Horses don't.
Right. In the day, they just ran the horse in there. Go run them.
All right, here we go.
Chris,
Question.
you and I are the same age. How many times have we seen a Triple Crown in our lifetime?
Well, Secretariat, Seattle Slew, and Affirmed were early in my life, and I believe there's been 2 since then. So I've seen 5.
Secretary, or what was the movie with Tobey Maguire? Was it Secretariat?
No, that was Seabiscuit.
Seabiscuit. That was a good
Seabiscuit
movie.
was before Secretariat, but not a Triple Crown winning horse.
All right, but it got a movie after it?
Seabiscuit, well, it's famous, but I don't remember why, honestly.
Because it has a great name?
I guess.
All right. Question number 3 for Jamie. Juan Soto is not his official name.
Hang on a second. Say his name again.
Juan Soto? Oh. Juan Soto is not his official name. What is Juan Soto's official name?
Oh, my Lord.
Wow.
I have no idea.
I went on Wikipedia the other day and I saw this and I did some research. I'm like, huh?
So he
said he doesn't know. Okay, that's a good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we
Stay
looking
there.
for his
his full birth name?
Billy Joe Juan Sotomayor. I don't know. Did I get it? I didn't get
Billy Joe Juan Sotomayor.
Yeah. No?
That's not it, Jamie.
Man, I
You're
thought
the
I had it.
winner.
That's a win for you, Jamie.
I don't know why I felt that so
Stay
funny.
online.
Oh,
You got it.
It's Juan Jose Soto Pacheco.
Oh, well, the Pacheco was what threw me there.
Yeah, I didn't know about the
All right,
Pacheco
good for you,
either.
Jamie. It's a win. Stay on the line. You will have a chance to go to Las Vegas.
Billy Joe Juan Sotomayor is hilarious.
Juan Soto, my guy. All right, we
apparently he's on fire. By the way,
well, it's about time. The Mets have been on fire. You know, the reason the Mets are rolling now, while they're rolling, the Phillies have gone the other way.
Yes, they have.
Phillies have lost 9 out of 10. So all of a sudden, the Metropolitans are back up by 4.5 games. That division was like the Mets by 5, the Phillies by 5. Now the Mets by 5 again. Keep in mind, if the Padres beat the Dodgers tonight, they will be in first place in the National League West. It would be a percentage point lead. Giants, who are also a game back right now with the Padres, do not play tonight. I will caution the Padres and the Dodgers both. While they're playing each other this week, the Giants will be beating the Rockies. So something to just keep in the back of your mind. Rockies are back in form, having been swept over the weekend by the Mets to fall to 12-53.
Wow.
Yeah. The record disaster continues.
What if they
Colorado?
What if they never won those 3 games in Miami? That would be awful.
You know,
I mean, 12 is so much better than 9.
It's better.
Well, yes. I mean,
the Rockies are equal opportunity, though. They're 6-25 at home, 6-28 on the road. Got 6 wins all year in front of those fans who keep piling into the ballpark there at Coors Field.
They don't care.
Crazy. Who has the best record in baseball right now, Skrabe? Yep, it's still. You don't know.
The Tigers.
Tigres.
Yes.
Half game ahead of the Mets in the battle for the best record in baseball. Cubs, Kyle Tucker home run lead the Phillies 1-0. Reds in Terry Francona's return to Cleveland are leading the Guards 2-0 top of 3. A couple of scores for you. The Boston kid, Roman Anthony, due up 5th in the bottom of the first inning. We'll let you know if he gets his first swing. Expecting greatness from him. We got We got Padre Royals tickets to give away. We gave away Dodger tickets last week. More Gwynn and Chris ahead. Big 5 coming also. So don't go anywhere. All right, Skraby says we got a very short segment, so I got a short story.
Oh, okay.
Gwynn and Chris, Crisello, Tony Gwynn Jr., Matt Skraby, Big Five shortly. Here's my story. This is going to show my age, but I don't mind.
Okay.
One of the things that us old timers miss about baseball is guys hustling all the time out there, right? Like running through a wall, never jogging on the field, never assuming anything. Somewhere tonight, even the great Manny Machado is going to hit a ground ball and jog to first base. And I'm not going to like it. Here's the story. George Brett, one of the greatest hitters in the history of the sport, was asked late in his career what he wanted to do on his last at bat, how he wanted to go out.
Interesting. Weird
question.
Never would have thought about
Right,
it.
but George Brett, he won, I don't know how many batting titles. I think he won one batting title in each of 3 decades. That's pretty impressive in its own.
That is.
George Brett's one of the greats. And you would think he'd say, well, I want to hit a home run. I want to hit a whatever, right? Grand slam, game-winning hit. George Brett said, I want to hit a ground ball to second base.
Okay.
And the guy asked the question and said, what are you talking about? Why do you want to go out like that? And he goes, because when I hit that ground ball to second base, I want to bust my ass down the line as fast as I can. And they said, well, what does that mean? And he goes, because I want to be remembered as a guy that played the game hard and gave 120% on every single play. I just love that answer.
I mean,
and I'm telling the story because this is not the way anybody who plays today would answer that question, right?
I kind of think
maybe
there's
it's
a chance
silly.
like Jackson Merrill would answer this
maybe
way.
Jackson Merrill, but yeah, right. I don't know. I just thought that was an interesting story, and it just contrasts to the way the game is now, where you have to be kind of Mr. Cool out there.
Or you just don't want to pull anything on a routine
Or
grounder
that.
to second.
George Brett was like, no, I want to be my last play. I want to be busting it down the line.
I do think
like
that's very interesting.
All right, let's go to a break. It was a short story. We had a short time, so I gave it to you.
We have lots of Big Five.
Yeah, we have lots of Big Five. Tony's back, and it's next.
A critical bat.
We got to get to the Big Five here shortly, but before that, chance for you right now to win a couple of tickets to see the Padres play the Royals on Sunday, June 22nd. Remember, these tickets will not be the theme game tickets, which is part of that Star Wars weekend, but they are tickets to the game nonetheless. You can go see the Padres play the Royals on Sunday, June 22nd. You can start dialing in now to answer the trivia question, but Skraby will just hang up on you. So you might as well wait for the question to be asked.
Oh, we already got 3.
I know. People are dialing in already. Here's the question. I told you to study up, brush up on your Royals trivia. Here's what I came up with. The Royals won their first World Series in 1985. Were you born yet? No.
That was the year I was born.
Oh, you were born that year.
So I was like
October?
6 months old.
You were 6 months old.
Or 5 months old.
Okay, Royals won their first World Series that fall, 1985. Beat the Cardinals in 7. But they fell behind in that series 3-1. Cardinals won Game 4, 3-0 in a shutout at Busch Stadium. A left-hander by the name of John Tudor, who was really, really good back in that era, pitched the shutout for St. Louis. The question for you is, who started and lost that game for the Kansas City Royals? He was also a left-hander. He pitched 5 innings in the ballgame, gave up a couple of home runs, one to Tito Landrum and one to Willie McGee. He would go on to more fame elsewhere in baseball. That's the only clue I'll give you. He was a left-hander in the 1985 Royals. He started and lost Game 4 to the Cardinals that year. Name him at 833-288-0973. First person with the correct answer will go see the Royals take on the Padres June 22nd. While you're dialing in to answer that, we'll check some traffic and get into today's Big Five.
Traffic's going to be at the end. I'm sorry.
Right.
I was trying to get your attention.
Yeah.
Here we go. Big
I was
Five.
focused on the
Yes,
question.
I know. No, it's okay.
It's that time of the show when we check on the latest in sports. Only the most important topics and questions are brought to light.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
These news stories will astound and amaze you. The one, the only.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
The Big Five starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right. We got a ton to talk about in the Big Five. Chris, your hand is in the air, sir.
Yes, I was thinking of our Big Five over the weekend.
Oh, yeah?
Because they did a piece on Seth MacFarlane on, I believe it was CBS This Morning,
Okay,
a
why
news
did they do
magazine
that?
show that I like to watch sometimes. And, of course, Seth MacFarlane is the guy who voices Peter Griffin.
Yes.
And brings us on for the
Yes.
Big Five every day and says, who the hell cares?
Who the hell cares?
It's a good thing he said that, because now he's become a crooner.
What does that
Do you know
mean?
what a crooner is?
No.
He sings like old Tony Bennett and Frank Sinatra songs now.
Seth MacFarlane?
MacFarlane. That's what he really, really always wanted to do.
Interesting.
And his,
But now he has enough money where he can just
exactly
waste
he
his
can
time
do
doing it.
whatever the hell he wants.
Yes.
So I want to thank Seth MacFarlane for lending to our show before
Yes.
moving on
Wow.
into the world.
Seth MacFarlane makes great TV, not great movies. So I'm glad he's moving on
No,
from the
but
movies.
I think Family Guy's still going, isn't it? And
I
can
don't know
go
if they're making new
forevermore.
episodes, but they're
Oh.
going to be on syndication forever.
Yeah, true that.
Forever.
True that.
Well,
Okay.
that was a good note, Chris. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Number 5.
Dennis Lynn wrote something in The Athletic that I thought was pretty interesting. If Manny Machado gets to 3,000 hits in his career, would he be the last one to do it, was what Dennis Lynn asked. And Manny Machado was asked himself, and he said, quote, "It does sound crazy, but at the same time, you kind of see how the game is going right now," end quote. There are 4 active players who with at least 2,000 hits: Freddie Freeman, Jose Altuve, Andrew McCutchen, and Paul Goldschmidt. Machado needs 28 more hits to make it to the 2,000 mark, and he will be the 5th active player. As recently as 2 decades ago, guys, there were 27 players with over 2,000 hits. And that's kind of crazy. So, Chris, you're up first. Do you think Manny could be the last one to reach 3,000 hits?
First of all, I'd love to see him make it.
I know we're jumping forward a little bit.
1,000 is a ways to go. It's probably another 6 or 7 seasons for Manny. But, he hits like this, he's going to make it. Secondly, I don't think he'd be the last. No, it's way too long into the future. Somebody's going to come along and have a long career and get 3,000 hits. It's not an impossible task. I think some of the all-time numbers in baseball that you're not going to be seeing anymore are pitching numbers, like guys with 300 wins, guys with 3,000 strikeouts, guys with those kinds of numbers.
200 innings in a season.
Well, yeah, that's just an inning. That's one season. But I think those kinds of things might have gone the way, of history, because pitching is so much different. But no, hitting records, 3,000 is doable. It's not easy. It's a great milestone, but I don't think Manny will be the last.
Tony, do you think Manny could be the last one to reach 3,000 hits?
Like the last ever in baseball?
Yes, right.
Yeah, that's what they're asking us.
I'll tell you the same thing I told Dennis, which is it'll be a while before we see one, but I can't sit here and say that it's never going to happen again. That seems a little extreme because in the same way that rules changed in the 70s that kind of opened it up for the offense, and the way we look at and the different things pitchers can do now, there's going to be an adjustment at some point. I don't know, not anytime soon, but down the line. I think you'll start to see a guy try to approach 3,000. I mean, you're starting to see more guys pop up that hit like a Rise or hit like a Jacob Wilson, and those guys are hit collectors. And so I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, but I definitely don't think that Manny will be the last if he's able to get to that number.
I like the phrase "hit collectors."
Pretty good. Pretty good. I wonder where he got that from. Does he know anybody in his family who might have
been a hit collector?
I know a guy, but I definitely made that up on the fly right there.
That's pretty good.
I know. I like what you said. I know a guy, but I still came up with that on my own.
Hit collector is a great TV show name for something. I don't know what it is, but it's great.
Maybe Seth MacFarlane's
maybe.
It's like the bone collector, but the hit collector.
I was thinking about the bone collector, but I couldn't make that leap in my own head. Anyway, have you seen the Bone Collector, Chris? Great movie.
Denzel Washington.
Great movie.
Yeah, stop trying to give me on trivia. I've seen it.
Yeah. Earlier I sang "It's Hot in Here" by Nelly, and Chris knew. I was shocked by it. Anyway, flabbergasted.
He doesn't think I know anything.
Well, I did not expect for you to know a Nelly song from like 2002.
Nelly's kind of worldwide, so I can see Chris.
It was a pop song at the time. It was on a lot of pop music stuff.
All right. Astros GM Dana Brown is not one to make a big deal about things in public, but frustrations boiled over during a contentious meeting Thursday with Pirates officials amid a 3-hour, 22-minute rain delay that preceded his club's 8-2 win at PNC Park. The game was originally scheduled for 6:40 p.m. Eastern. It began at 10:02 p.m. Eastern. Houston just needed 2 hours, 24 minutes, but still, the Astros GM said that they had to go to Cleveland and that he was not happy about the game starting at 10:02 p.m. Quote, "I would have preferred to bang the game just because of the conditions and length of time and all that." End quote. So the video is actually kind of interesting because he's very, very angry about this. You could see it. And then the Pirates interim manager just walked off after a while, but he doesn't think they should have started the game. So, Tony, should they have postponed this game?
Off of just like this, without having the context of schedules and all that, no, they shouldn't have played this game. They should have banged it. But again, this was on the weekend, I believe, right?
It was actually last Thursday.
It was last Thursday.
Yes.
I don't know if Pittsburgh had a night there that day, if they were giving away something, but this is an organization that is banking on having games and making money that way, because they certainly aren't, trying to win baseball games, it seems like. So you find that, certain teams play these little stupid games in terms of wanting to make as much money as possible. The Braves are notorious for it too. This is why we come back as late as we do. A 4:00 game, that's as late as you possibly can have a game within the rules, basically. And so the fact that the Pirates forced the Astros to stay there till 10:30 to start that game, I think is ridiculous. But I think they did something similar last year with the Padres out there. So, I mean, I guess I can't say that I'm that surprised.
Chris, should they have postponed this game? Or should they have banged the game?
Banged it. Probably, but I don't have a problem with this. In all due respect to my guy, Tony Gwynn Jr., who has to go through this and do all the travel.
Yes.
And has to fly overnight and check into hotels in the middle of the morning and do all of these things. I also travel, but I don't travel quite as comfortably as Major League Baseball teams do. So I am never one to look at those poor guys and feel like, they missed out on a couple of hours of sleep. To me, it goes with the job. You play the game when it is. In a perfect world, they wouldn't have played it. But what's your alternative here? It was a getaway day.
NL versus AL.
No, if the game mattered, you'd have to make a special trip and fly back to Pittsburgh sometime in October and play this game. So suck it up for 3 hours and play the game. Now, if there was a game the next day, then that's stupid. You obviously make a doubleheader the next day.
There literally.
I see. You said it was a Thursday getaway.
I know what you're saying. Yes,
the series would have been over.
Yes.
So I'm saving the Astros a trip back to Pittsburgh by making them wait 3 hours. That's all I'm saying.
I'm gonna hold you to this because if the Padres end up, I hope you're singing the same song. Well, I have the thing is, and this drives me nuts. Okay. You're right. You don't travel like that, but you also aren't in the 2% of people in the world that can hit a baseball, throw a baseball at this level, and so therefore, there's some different things, some different perks.
Yes, but what percentage of people can broadcast a basketball game like I can, Tony?
There aren't a high percentage of people who can do that.
Like 1%.
To be clear,
yeah, right.
But I'm saying though,
I know.
That's 10 o'clock. That's a little ridiculous.
That's late.
That's a little ridiculous.
That's late.
That's crazy. I would be calling for a postponement.
I know, but does anybody see my point?
I see your point because listen, they would certainly be complaining come September,
right?
If they had to make that flight. I see your point.
And then the big five question would be: should the Astros have to play the Pirates? I'll just
this
write
game
this down
really
now.
matter?
Can you just give them a win?
Because we've talked about this with. I think the Red Sox had to do this.
I will say this
much.
I will say this much like Chris. Dang, I forgot my point.
Much like Chris. I don't know.
No.
Much like Chris.
It'll come to me.
Okay. Yeah, just let us know when we get to number 2, if you think about it.
Okay. Chris, but most Major League Baseball teams do not get a chartered flight that does not have a working bathroom.
I think what I'm irritated with is that it's the Pirates, and that I feel like they are doing this for reasons other than
true that the Pirates need every cent they can get.
I think that's why I'm taking this stand.
Because if they don't play the game, they got to get the ticket money back, right? And then that's another
right.
That's another
100%.
issue.
It was probably like Paul Skeen's bobblehead.
They don't want to get that. They want that gate. Is
Yeah,
what
they
they
want
like. They like that gate.
Yeah.
Number 3.
Boston Red Sox right-hander Hunter Dobbins is a lifelong Red Sox fan from Texas, and the team's starting pitcher last night in the game against the Yankees. He told the Boston Herald on Saturday he'd rather retire if the Yankees were the last team to give him a contract. Now, Aaron Judge was asked about this, and he said he was unaware of the comment until ESPN's Eduardo Perez relayed it to him before Sunday's series finale. Quote from Aaron Judge, "I've only heard Ken Griffey say that, so I was a little surprised," end quote. Chris.
That's some subtle shade right there.
Subtle shade, and then I think
you, Mr. Judge.
Judge took him deep, too, so... Chris, does baseball need more of this? Because I kind of like this from Hunter Dobbins, even though it put him out there.
Yeah, it's the first thing I thought of. The Red Sox-Yankees rivalry is supposed to be the most hated rivalry in sports. So I don't have a problem with it. It's probably best that the young man establish himself, at least as a major league pitcher before he, spouts off like this. But I think Aaron Judge probably would have hit a home run off him anyway.
Probably.
Right? So, people I think are making this comparison now and saying, well, he said this, so Aaron Judge hit a home run.
I think Aaron did it either way.
He might have done it anyway.
Both things can be true.
Right. So, yeah, a little rivalry. I've said this before. I'm never a fan, and Tony knows this. I don't like the fraternization right before games.
Yep.
I wish players wouldn't talk to each other around the batting cage. After the game, you get together, fine. But before the game, I don't want to show up and see, Manny Machado tonight hugging Freddie Freeman. But it'll probably happen because they're old teammates and stuff, but I don't like it. So I like this better.
All right. Tony, do you think baseball needs more of this?
Does it need more of it? I don't know that it needs it. I think it's helpful to their particular rivalry. I think the Yankees-Red Sox thing has kind of died in some ways. It's not nearly as popping as it used to be, in part because there's no real animosity between the teams, between the two teams.
Pedro Martinez hasn't thrown Don Zimmer on the ground since 1998.
That's the era we grew up in, right? I mean, I saw Pedro Martinez take an old Zimmer and take his head and throw him down. Like that's what I mean. That's the kind of animosity I'm talking about.
Didn't A-Rod kick Jason Varitek?
I mean, I remember A-Rod trying to smush face Varitek. He tried to pick him up, but A-Rod was a little too big for Varitek to kind of dump him out like he was trying to, and then it just spilled over. That's the kind of thing I like. In terms of this, I didn't mind it as long as because what happens is it'll start as tiny as him saying, I'd rather retire than be a Yankee, and Judge hits him deep, and then the fans start taking it and they go further.
Yeah.
As long as it just stays like this, maybe we have maybe a beanball war. I don't mind that at all, as long as nobody gets hurt. Those are the type of things that create rivalries, right?
Yeah.
Or playing a lot of each other in close games.
Yeah,
those type of things.
Baseball is doing what they can to end rivalries
by not playing anymore.
And they're trying to create rivalries like Reds Guardians, trying to make a rivalry out of that.
It's not a state thing. Baseball has never been the part of the state, except for New York. New York is the one place where that works.
That works.
And that's not even really North New York, South New York. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's boroughs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that place is unique. But outside of that, I got killed for this on the podcast the other day that Padres and Dodgers is the best rivalry right now.
I see a lot of people talking about it today.
There's not a better one right now than the Padres Dodgers, and it's not close.
You stick with your guns, to 100%. Your guns, Tony.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Chipper Jones is a great Twitter follow. If you haven't followed him on
Chipper
Twitter yet.
is a good follow.
He does not care, and he has had enough of a certain Major League Baseball umpire that I think a lot of Padres fans have had enough of too. Doug Eddings is the guy. Yes, yesterday the Cubs 6-1 win was marred, according to the article I read, with several apparent missed calls, including a couple of called third strikes, and they were not strikes when I looked at them.
By the way, yesterday was not Doug Eddings. I just want to point this out.
So this was Saturday.
This was Saturday. Yesterday wasn't that good either. It was just as bad yesterday. So continue. I'm sorry.
No. Chipper Jones went to X claiming Eddings is one of the worst umpires in baseball. Quote, not only one of the worst umpires in the league for going on 2 decades, but consistently one of the most confrontational.
Yeah, that's the
toxic combination.
That's the word right there, confrontational.
So, Tony, you're up first. Do you think today's umpire needs to be less confrontational?
No. I just think that Doug is too confrontational. And it's one thing to be confrontational. It's another thing to be, how can I say this nicely?
I could.
You want us to say it for you?
Yeah, I can say it for you. I don't know the word, though, what you're looking for. But
bad?
Yeah, bad and confrontational.
Yeah, bad and confrontational is not a good combination at all.
Yeah.
And as I said, yesterday was not Doug Eddings. It was another cat. I can't remember his name right now. But if you are bad I don't need you to necessarily acknowledge it, but at least act accordingly. Like if you have just even the slightest part of you is like, man, I might be having a bad day here. That might be the day where you shouldn't be confrontational. I don't know. I think at that point you should not necessarily take any, extra stuff from anybody, but have a little more grace in terms of understanding where the other side's coming from. Doug consistently doesn't do that. And, I think it's a twofold, right? I think he is also being worn down because he hasn't been great at times.
He probably gets yelled at more than most guys.
He probably gets yelled at more than anybody, or not yelled at, but chirped at.
Yeah.
From both sides, probably more than any other umpire. Now that Angel is,
I was just about to say, maybe the better question is Doug Eddings the new Angel Hernandez?
Doug Eddings is in mid-season form.
I've only really seen Doug really have issues behind the plate. I can't remember a ton of times on the bases. I know he's had a few that I can think of, but it's mainly behind the bases. Sometimes with Angel, it could be a little bit of everything.
It could be anything, honestly.
But I was going to say this real quick. I love Chipper, the fact that he's not even watching a Brave game. Yeah. He's just watching a game and giving you his commentary on Doug Eddings.
Tigers, Cubs.
The fact that he is saying it, Chipper hasn't played since when? What was Chipper's last year?
Ooh, let me look that up real quick. I'll look
2000, what, 10?
Maybe.
Well, he just was going he went into the Hall, right? So that was
2012.
2 years ago? 12 was his last year, right? So, I mean,
that's 13 years ago.
That's 13 years of that. So, I don't know. Yeah, no, I think I don't have a problem with his commentary at all. I don't know. What was the question?
You've already answered it. Chris, do you think umpires need to be less confrontational?
First of all, Larry Jones owes an incredible debt of gratitude to whoever it was that nicknamed him Chipper, because that has made him far more cool.
What's his real name? Like
Larry.
Nelson? Oh, Larry.
Larry.
That's right.
His real name was Larry.
Yeah, Larry Jones may have made the Hall of Fame, but it wouldn't have sounded
Larry
as
Jones
good.
sounds like a baseball player, though.
You think?
It does. Larry Jones does sound like a baseball player.
Chipper
Sounds like a pitcher, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Secondly, I can easily answer this because I work with officials sometimes who make what I believe to be a questionable call as their partner.
Yeah.
And then get mad when they're questioned about it. And I just stand off to the side and go, what are you doing? And this is what happens with Doug Eddings. If you make a call that you're not 100, I'm talking 100% like go to the wall for it, then understand that the other side may argue a little bit and be willing to deal with that. And I tell you, the only time I get really angry when I get chirped at, yelled at by coaches is when I am 100% sure.
Right.
And then I go up to them, I'm like, Coach, this isn't even a conversation. Like, don't even go here. But there are some calls that maybe I get screened on or I don't have a good look at. And if I make a call they don't like, I'm willing to listen because I didn't have the best look.
Right.
Somebody needs to teach Doug Eddings about this. That's all.
Okay. We need to move a little bit because we're coming to the end of the hour, but this one is not sports related. Did you guys know that it's illegal for you to use your phone for GPS purposes without actually touching the phone? Did you guys know this? In California,
Don't understand.
The hands-free law is that you cannot touch your phone at all.
Okay.
And there was a ruling made recently because someone got pulled over. Their phone proved that they did not tap the screen while the officer said they were using their phone, but they were holding their phone in their hand. And so the officer gave them a ticket and they appealed it. And the court said it is illegal for drivers to hold a cell phone, even if you are not tapping or swiping.
Fair.
So, Chris,
that's some clarification.
That is some clarification. Chris, have you ever received a cell phone ticket?
No.
I have.
Well, good for you.
10 years ago. It wasn't good for me,
Well,
Chris.
then take away the segment. I mean, I've never done this. I look around before I hit my cell phone.
Oh, you look around before you use your
Of course
cell
I do.
phone. Okay.
Well, look, I'm not going to
That's
sit
the
here and
smart
tell
thing
you
to do, Skrabe.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I've never tapped my cell phone to call my wife or something, and I don't always have hands free. So, yeah, I've done it. I'm sorry. I don't like, no, I've done it.
Stop saying I'm trying to get you out of
on
it.
the way to the, game tonight.
Tony, have you ever received a cell phone ticket?
I have not, but I have certainly had guilty of having my phone when I shouldn't have my phone.
Yeah, I know. There's just so much stuff going on with the phone now. So everybody needs to know that it's illegal to use your phone, even if you aren't using it for texting or something like that. Can't even hold it. That goes to all the people I see every single day talking on their cell phone on speakerphone like that is hands-free.
Yes, but guess what? Those people have never probably received a ticket, and you have. So
I know.
Be quiet.
Why? Wait, no, those people are dumb.
You don't get to criticize them. You already committed the crime yourself.
I do, because they're holding their phone like, oh, I'm hands-free.
You've committed that crime yourself and been caught for it.
Whatever.
It's on record.
We'll get you set for this massive game tonight between the Padres and the Dodgers when we get back here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Crystal Geyser, Alpine Spring. Couple of problems along southbound 15. One is a crash.
It has to do with average temperatures in the year 2024. And this is the average temperature, high, maximum per day, minimum per day. It is going to be your job today to find the 25 states whose average temperature is under 55 degrees. California's at 60. You're looking for anything under 55. I'm not going to let you go first. I'm going to give Tony first.
Let's start with Montana.
That is correct.
Montana.
Montana's the fourth coldest state in the U.S., 44.5 degrees average temperature. All right, Skraby, that leaves a really obvious one for you. I gave Tony first, but he didn't take it. So you can.
I don't know that these are that obvious to any of us.
All right,
Chris.
Well, I think one is obvious.
Alaska,
I think. Thought Alaska was pretty obvious. 27.8 degrees average temperature in Alaska. 16 degrees colder than any other state. Tony's up.
Washington, the state.
State of Washington is on the list at 48.4. So Tony takes a 2-1 lead. Skraby, give me a cold state.
Maine.
Tony, you're up 2-2.
How about Idaho?
Idaho's pretty cold. Cold enough at 45.5, seventh coldest in the U.S.
Well, it's my favorite state to say. Minnesota.
Yeah, that was kind of obvious. Same as Idaho. Minnesota, 45.5, Tony.
How about North Dakota?
North Dakota, there
North
you
Dakota.
go. You found it, number 2. 43.7 there.
I'll take the lesser-known Dakota. The
South Dakota.
I think it's the more-known Dakota.
Yeah, I would think it's more. Tony, you are up in a 4-4 tie with no strikes yet.
How about Oregon?
Oregon, believe it or not, Oregon's cold enough to make the list. Tony's 5, Skraby's 4.
Never been here, but I knew someone from here and said it's very cold. New Hampshire.
New Hampshire's cold. Tony.
How about Vermont?
Vermont's cold, and it's right next to New Hampshire, so that was good. 46.3. Tony goes up 6-5.
How about Wisconsin?
Wisconsin. I'm pretty sure that's going to be in there. Just below. Tony, you're up.
We're going to move to Wisconsin's neighbor. How about a little Illinois?
Oh. How about a little Illinois? Little Illinois didn't make it. You can get your first lead of the day here.
A state that I've been to, a state that has beautiful scenery, Wyoming.
That's number 3. Wyoming, 44.3. I can definitely second that.
Laramie is like the
notion, having been there every year to Laramie. It's cold. Tony.
Iowa.
Iowa.
That's a great one.
Is it?
Has to be on there.
51.5. Iowa just snuck in there.
I'm going to bank on the part of the state that's not attached to the paw is cold. Michigan.
Michigan is a winner. Very good. The Upper Peninsula you're referring to.
The pod.
How about Utah?
Utah, Salt Lake City and company. Yep,
Park
it's
City.
cold there. 51.2. That is correct. Tony hits it. 8-8. The only difference is Tony's got a strike.
Nueva York.
Nueva York.
New York for Chris.
It does get cold there in New York. 49 degrees average temperature in New York is Tony.
Connecticut.
You
What about Ohio?
You ready to come up with an answer, Skraby?
Ohio.
Too hot.
I
Too
know.
hot.
I was thinking that because it's next to Illinois, but I live
Too
there
hot.
and it snowed.
Is that what you want, Ohio?
Yeah.
54.9.
Oh!
It's the last one on there. Skraby goes up 10-9.
How about a little Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania, frigid old Pennsylvania.
Frigid old Pennsylvania.
Home of Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Harrisburg. And cold enough at 52.1 to make the list.
Pennsylvania, baby.
10-10.
Massachusetts?
It has not been said. Doesn't mean it's correct, but it is 51.2. Skraby hits a bell.
Massachusetts.
11-10. Tony, you're up.
Oh, man, this is hard.
There are 4 left.
Cold. How about Indiana?
Oh.
Indiana. No, Tony. That's a strike. 55.2. Indiana just over by 0.2.
Some of the cold spots in the country are in the plains. Nebraska.
Yeah.
Lincoln. That's all I got on Nebraska.
Skraby's doing okay. That's correct.
Wow!
52 degrees.
Colorado.
Skraby for the win.
One of the most forgotten places in the United States
is
Rhode Island.
And it is correct.
Yes! Sorry, that was a lot. Does that mean I win?
Game is over.
Yes, Game is over!
That was a stupid game.
I didn't think times for more than one reason. First of all, it's the happy hour of Gwynn and Chris, Crisello, Tony Gwynn Jr., Matt Skraby. Happy hour brought to you by GL Pools. Swimming pool experts trusted by thousands of San Diegans since 2006. Baseball season's in full swing. So is swim season. Call GL Pools. Mention the word radio. Yep, that'll get you a free month of pool service. I'd highly recommend that. We're happy because the Dodgers are here, not because we miss the Dodgers per se, and their fans, or any of that. But just because it's about time. Dodgers finally play the Padres. Game 65 of the season. Way too long of a wait. But alas, the series is upon us. And if the Padres win tonight, they would move into first place in the National League West by percentage points ahead of the Dodgers. Giants are idle tonight. They'll begin a series tomorrow in Colorado, which hardly seems fair. The Dodgers and Padres, interestingly, are not really either of them playing incredible ball.
No.
Padres, since they beat Colorado in that 21-0 thrashing on May 10th, basically a month, Padres have gone 12-14 since then. Of those 12 wins, 6 by 1 run and 5 by 2 runs. So 11 of the 12, they've won by either 1 or 2 runs. They haven't had really a comfortable win in a month, the Padres. But the good news is, while winning 11 of those close games, they've lost only 5 close ones. So when they're close, they're winning. It's what good teams do. We'll see if they can keep it going. Padres have had great success this year, Skraby, against National League teams. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 series. Padres have played against National League teams. They've won 10, lost only 1, and the split with the Giants last week tied that series. 10-1-1. Like to see if you can keep that going.
Yes.
Against the Dodgers starting tonight. Dustin May for LA. Nick Pivetta for the Padres, who come in with an overall record of 27-10 against the National League. One last thing, Dodgers, last 22 games, they're 10-12. So they haven't exactly been rolling either.
No.
And
so a matchup of the mids.
Yeah, first place is at stake, though, tonight. So might as well get it.
Yeah.
Might as well get it.
I was telling my friend over the weekend, she was like, oh, do I want to go to a game this week? And I'm like, well, if you want to see the number 1 team in the National League West. And she was like, what? What do you mean? I'm like, Padres could win not win the division, be in the lead of the division by the time the Dodgers leave town. They almost were leading the division by the time they got back from Milwaukee.
Yeah, Padres win 2. If they win tonight or total, they win 2 out of 3. They'd be ahead of the Dodgers when the series is over. The only problem if they win 2 out of 3, though, is the Giants will probably pass them because the Giants are not going to lose any, I wouldn't think, to the Rockies.
I wouldn't put that
starting
past
tomorrow.
Them. They just swept the Braves. I think.
What do you think?
They're overlooking.
The Giants are very Padre-like this year. Padres have won 14 one-run games. Giants are the only team that have won more. 16 one-run victories for the Gigantes.
You know what they used to call San Francisco baseball when I was up there for college?
Boring?
Torture.
Yeah. Play a lot of close games. So do the Padres, and I expect we will see one tonight. Quick bit of business to take care of. During that Big Five, we were having our trivia contest. Today's question was, name the left-handed pitcher who started and lost Game 4 of the 1985 World Series. Now, the reason we asked it, if you're just tuned in, is because the tickets are for a Padre Royals game. The Royals were winning their first World Series that year, so we asked a Royal question.
Is it Brett Saberhagen?
It wasn't Brett Saberhagen. That's who everybody guessed.
We took 10 calls?
Probably 10 people called in a row and said Brett Saberhagen. Actually, they didn't all say Brett Saberhagen, because a lot of them didn't really remember how to pronounce his name.
Saberhagen?
Yeah, they were kind of close, but we knew who they meant. Brett Saberhagen was an excellent right-handed pitcher in 1985. So good that he was the World Series MVP of that series. But he did not start and lose Game 4. The starter and loser that year of Game 4 was Bud Black.
There we go.
Yes, that was the connection.
It all
Black
comes around.
pitched for the Royals. He's got a World Series ring. Everybody says, Bud Black has no World Series rings. Not true. He won that one.
He did.
He also won one with the bench coach with the Angels in 2002. Bud Black has 2 World Series rings that he can put in each year so that he doesn't have to hear your noise about he doesn't have a World Series ring. He's got 2 of them.
I wonder what he's doing right now.
Well, I hope he's relaxing.
I'm sure he is.
He's probably taking some joy. Although, would you? I mean, all the players on the Rockies that are losing night and night and night and night are all his guys, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, he cared about those guys. He didn't want to see them keep losing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the Rockies have gone 5-20 since they fired Bud Black. That did not exactly change things.
I think we all knew that was the case.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. And we're being proven correct there. Game 1 of the series tonight, Sam Levitt's got the pregame show in about 35 minutes. And then Jesse, Tony, play-by-play. 6:40 tonight. Tomorrow night, Dodgers have not named their starter for tomorrow night. Padres will have Dylan Cease. That used to bring with it a ton of confidence, didn't it? Dylan Cease.
I still got confidence, Chris.
I do too. And he's not pitching poorly, but he's not pitching well enough to win. Dylan Cease still has 1 win this year. That's hard to believe. He's now been passed by I keep want to call him Hideki Matsui. He's now been passed by
Yuki
Matsui and Wandy Peralta, for that matter. Peralta's got 3. Yuki's got 2. But, you just think Cease is going to get on some sort of roll here at some point and give you one of those months like he gave you about mid-season when what was that, a stretch? He had like 6 starts. He gave up 3 hits.
And a no-hitter in there.
And a no-hitter, and it was just nobody could touch the guy for about 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. So hopefully Cease will get back to it starting tomorrow night. Vasquez, Wednesday. Dodger rookie lefty Justin Robleski. I mean, look, the Dodgers are coming in here with Dustin May to be determined and Justin Robleski.
You should have a good shot.
Well, yes. And just think, what we thought they would come in with was some form of Yamamoto, Snell, Glasnow, Kershaw, and Sasaki.
That's not lying.
And they don't have any of those guys pitching in this series. So let's see what happens starting tonight. All right. What else? Not much. NHL Stanley Cup Game 3 getting started in Florida shortly. Series is tied at 1 there. NBA is off for a couple of nights. 1 spot left in the College Baseball World Series. Skraby just turned the game on. Duke is playing Murray State.
And they will not show Chris's score.
Just won't put the score up
they,
on the
They literally
screen.
go to commercial break. I've never seen that before. I've never seen him go to commercial break but not put the score.
Just went to break without putting the score. I think it's 2-2. Duke and Murray State.
Are you ready for my Skraby segment on the other side?
Yeah, we'll take a break. We gotta get a check of traffic.
We got a Clayton Kershaw story, Chris.
Clayton Kershaw story will be part of the Skraby segment, which we always say for the end of the show. Since he doesn't get a chronicle on game day, we give him the final segment of this show.
We also, I'm trying to tease everything.
Okay.
Got a little bit of Mike Schilt on Michael King and Yu Darvish.
Yes, we got to update that. Wouldn't it be nice if he just comes on and says, yep, Michael King will be pitching Friday, Yu Darvish Sunday?
Yes, it would be very nice.
Why do I kind of have the feeling he won't be saying that, though? We'll find out with the rest of us when we come back on Gwynn and Chris.
From the
I actually got in trouble once when I worked at the bank for looking up a celebrity, and it was totally wrong on my part. Totally wrong.
Looking up their account number?
Just I searched their name in the account system, and
Skraby, what is wrong with you?
I was like 19.
You'd be better off.
You would be better.
You'd be better off admitting that you wore your underwear inside out. Frankly,
This guy is just searching up people's accounts.
It only happened that one time because I got caught.
How did you get caught?
The account was flagged, and anybody taking a look at it gets logged, and so I got called into the boss's office like 3 days later.
What did that come? I'm sorry, I gotta ask, but nobody's supposed to be doing this preview. What did that conversation? How did it go?
Well, why were you looking up Paris Hilton? Is that who it was?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Oh my goodness.
I can neither confirm. That's really funny, Chris, that you just yelled out that name out of all names. No. But I walked in, I got called into the office, and I sat down, and all my boss, I loved her. She was great. Her name was Sharon. Amazing boss. She just slid the piece of paper in front of me.
You knew.
Said, "Did you visit this account?" And I looked. Yeah. She was like, "We're gonna have to write you up for this, and if you do it again, we're gonna have to fire you." And I said, "I'll never do it again." And I got out of there as soon as possible. I took everything, but it was not good. Not good.
Just curiosity, huh? He's like, I wonder how much they have in their account.
Yeah. I mean, before I got caught, I did look up athletes. And,
oh my God! I'm so glad you're sitting in this seat now.
Yes, I'm so happy you're not doing any job that can be dangerous to people's futures.
This was in the first year that I was there. I learned my lesson thoroughly.
Chris, as I said, as soon as they walked in, they was like,
"Yeah,
that's our guy right there.
That's our window.
We're gonna take him down."
Yep.
Just lucky I didn't get caught for like. I can't even say. I'll tell you guys off break whose account I saw and how much money they had sitting in their checking account.
And this was how long ago, too, by the way?
2009, 10. Way before I became a good person.
Didn't Bank America end up getting in trouble? Or was that it was one of those banks got in trouble?
All of them get in trouble for selling information. But
I heard folks like you.
I wasn't selling any information. I was just wanting to see what was going on.
Curious.
I didn't check their account activity, which I could have. Been like, oh, they bought this here. I'm going to go up there. You know, I'm not that creepy.
Well, that's stock.
Oh, yeah, you're not that bad.
I'm not that creepy.
This is amazing, by the way. We're supposed to be doing.
How are we supposed to do baseball picks under these circumstances?
We can't anymore. I think we gotta push it. You guys never did it. Well, I mean,
no, Skraby, we didn't
really. Okay. Like you work at a bank, you're looking at people's account information.
That's
unbelievable.
It only happened for a little bit, and then I got
for a little bit.
I can't stop laughing at this because it is quite hilarious. Skraby.
But you were saying that I may have gotten robbed or whatever. I actually did get robbed when I worked in San Francisco, and they're called quick change artists.
How long did you work in the banking industry?
8 years. I was a teller supervisor when I finished. I was also the merchant teller, which took in around $150,000 in cash a day. Guess what? Always balanced at the end of the day.
Yeah, I bet.
But there was a guy who walked in. He had about $5,000 in hundreds, and he handed it to me. He said, "Can I get 50s for these?" And I said, it's pretty annoying that he wants
$5,000 in hundreds.
In hundreds, and he wanted $5,000 in 50s. He just wanted 50s instead of hundreds. So I had to go get it from the vault. I come back. I'm starting to count it out, and then he's like starting to ask me questions as I'm counting it out.
He's trying to
and then
what did I tell you, Chris? This is what I'm talking about.
That window right there.
Hey, this guy was so good that no one saw it coming. But so when I started getting mad at him because I counted out the 50s, he goes, "What are you doing? I asked for 20s." And I'm like, "What? You did not ask for 20s. You asked for 50s, bro." Yeah. I had to go to the vault to get those 50s. And as I was getting all mad and talking to my boss, he took the cash off the counter and put it into this folder that he had on the thing that
the original 5,000 in hundreds.
Yeah, well, he kept going like that, and then I was so mad, I just grabbed it and I threw it in my drawer. And then he was like, "You know what? I'm out of here." And he walked out. And then at the end of the day, $3,000.
He got an extra 3 on you.
$3,000. Yeah, he got $3,000.
The thing about criminals like that, they can sniff out a mark really easy.
I'm not a mark.
You are 1,000%.
I was actually the bank's
dog. They got you for 3 extra.
And that's the only time in my 8 years that I ever had anything happen like that.
I'm sure there are people who've been there 8 years that never had 0 taken.
Skraby, I got a 20 here. Can I get 5 5s, please?
I hate you guys.
Let's get to
that was one of the worst moments of my life, but you know what? It taught me a lot. Never trust anyone ever again.
You know what? You definitely have learned because you don't trust very many people.
I don't trust anyone
anymore.
I actually got in trouble once when I worked at the bank for looking up a celebrity, and it was totally wrong on my part. Totally wrong.
Looking up their account number?
Just I searched their name in the account system. And
Skraby, what is wrong with you?
I was like 19.
You'd be better off. You'd be better off admitting that you wore your underwear inside out. Frankly,
this guy is just searching up people's accounts.
It only happened that one time because I got caught.
How did you get caught?
The account was flagged, and anybody taking a look at it gets logged, and so I got called into the boss's office like 3 days later.
What did that come? I'm sorry, I gotta ask, but nobody's supposed to be doing this preview. What did that conversation? How did it go?
Well, why were you looking up Paris Hilton? Is that who it was?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Oh my goodness.
I can neither confirm. That's really funny, Chris, that you just yelled out that name out of all names. No, but I walked in, I got called into the office, and I sat down, and all my boss, I loved her. She was great. Her name was Sharon. Amazing boss. She just slid the piece of paper in front of me.
You knew.
Said, "Did you visit this account?" And I looked. Yeah. She was like, "We're gonna have to write you up for this, and if you do it again, we're gonna have to fire you." And I said, "I'll never do it again." And I got out of there as soon as possible. I took everything, but it was not good. Not good.
Just curiosity, huh? He's like, I wonder how much they have in their account.
Yeah. I mean, before I got caught, I did look up athletes. And,
oh my God! I'm so glad you're sitting in this seat now.
Yes, I'm so happy you're not doing any job that can be dangerous to people's futures.
This was in the first year that I was there.
The final segment for us, Sam Levitt's pregame show. 20 minutes away, so it's a long segment, but we'll have it for you. Wrapping things up on Gwynn and Chris, Chrisello, Tony Gwynn Jr., Matt Skraby. Last year, Padres won 8, Dodgers won 5 in the regular season. Then, of course, Dodgers, well, they won, so you got to say it. They won 3-2 in that playoff.
Padres are right there.
The Padres and Dodgers only played 5 games here last year during the regular season, because one of the home games was actually played in Korea. Padres won 4 of the 5 here last year during the regular season. For what that's worth, a hill of beans. Basically,
I don't know.
Basically, a hill of beans doesn't have a whole lot to do with what's going to happen tonight, does it?
It could. I mean, it could be some carryover.
Hopefully. Padres had lost 13 season series in a row to the Dodgers before last year. And did you know tonight will be, with some quick addition here, the 473rd all-time meeting here between the Dodgers and Padres.
That's a lot.
473. Dodgers have won 246.
You mean in San Diego or
in San Diego?
Or not just
total.
Petco.
Yeah, that's San Diego.
Okay.
Dodgers have won 246. Padres 226. All right, now you have information that you probably don't need. For more of that, we turn the show over to Skraby now. What are you going to tell us that we don't need?
Skraby segment.
What you got?
We're going to talk about Ryan Weathers here in just a second. We're going to talk about Clayton Kershaw is mad at St. Louis. And then Shiloh Sanders gifted the Colorado football team something. And I'll get into it in a second. But first,
Shiloh Sanders, not Shador. But the other.
Shador's brother, right. Shiloh, the lesser-known Sanders, gifted the entire Colorado football team with something.
Oh, the football team.
Very, very, very expensive. He's also currently, I don't know if he's in a lawsuit right now. So we'll get into that in a second. But Mike Schilt, manager of the Padres, he did update everyone on Yu Darvish and Michael King. Let's hear from him first.
What's the latest on what Yu's going to do today? Looks like he's ready for a bullpen.
Yeah, Yu's going to get a bullpen with some ups and downs. So around 15 pitches up and then take a little break and then another 15 or so back up again and see where it goes. It's a good sign, right?
How about Michael? What has he been doing?
Michael's been learning a lot about what he's dealing with our medical staff. Is also on that learning curve of what it is and still continue to gather a lot of information. Rest is the prescription right now. He has played some catch, but nothing too aggressive and consistent. So we're just in a holding pattern to see what it is and the best way to treat it, if there is a better way to treat it outside of just the rest.
One more thing on Michael King. You said that you guys are still gathering information on the injury or the recovery?
On the injury itself specifically. It's not something that is historic to our game. It's not something that players have had. I'm not a medical doctor, clearly, or have any real medical training. So if anybody's CPR, you're in trouble. I can't speak the specificity of it. All I know is it's not something historically anything we've dealt with in this game. So we're sure get an education around it.
That sounds awful.
Doesn't sound great. Michael King last appeared in a game May 18th against the Mariners. He went to sleep that night, and the rest is unfortunately history at the moment. He slept strange. I don't know if it was that night, but one of the next nights or so.
I think they're saying it. We don't know, but I think it was the night before his start was supposed to happen.
Oh, actually, the 17th. His next one.
Yeah,
his 18th was the last time he pitched. They don't have a good definition of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
What? I mean, Michael, please. Roll over something.
I don't.
Anyway. It's very frustrating, annoying, and it's a frustrating injury. It really is. And again, not the Padres' fault, but when it first happened, we kind of all figured it'd be a day or two.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. I could say many more things about that, but there's no reason to, because it is what it is.
Yeah. And Yu Darvish is going to do an up-down workout.
I hate
whatever that
up-downs.
means. Yeah.
I hate those. Not good updates.
Well, as I said earlier, wouldn't it be nice if he said Michael King is pitching Friday, Darvish Sunday? That is not what he said.
No, it was not what he said.
No.
But real quick, also Padres reliever Bradley Rodriguez.
Yes.
He was forced out of the game, AAA El Paso yesterday. There's no real information on this, although he was removed from the game yesterday. So he walked off the field with a trainer looking at his bicep area of his arm. That's where bicep is.
And two tennis players ran up and back and down and around for 5.5 hours yesterday.
Yes, they did.
And baseball players.
Well, I mean, a pitcher, your bicep might be a little important.
Twinge every time they turn around.
You know what I wanted to say?
I understand these are real injuries. Don't get me wrong. But there's frustration in this, is there not?
That's a good word.
I mean, these guys are seeming, not just Padres, everybody.
No.
The Dodgers, we already detailed, the Dodgers have half their team out.
Yeah.
In terms of pitching.
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible now.
I wanted to make a joke earlier when you guys were talking about Sinner, and I was going to be like, well, of course he ran for 5.5 hours. He's on PEDs.
Yannick Sinner. Yes. Yeah. Don't get me started on that.
The guy who got popped for PEDs, but was still allowed to play for some reason.
Twice he got popped.
Tennis was like, okay, cool.
Tennis said, well, give him a 3-month suspension so he won't have to miss the Australian Open or the French Open.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's the weirdest thing in the world.
But it's okay because he didn't really knowingly do it. So it's fine. Just like every other athlete.
Yeah. Then every athlete who's ever said that should be able to play.
I know.
The other piece of news, I don't have another piece of news. What I got though is yesterday, the Cardinals apparently got under the skin of Clayton Kershaw. Now, I do know a couple years ago, we as in San Diego and the Padres, put up the crying Kershaw on the board after, I believe it was a Friday night game.
I think the Padres won the first game on a Friday night to put the Kershaw thing up. I don't know that the Padres won again until the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah. I think you're right there. Well, the
and
Cardinals,
we all agreed, and the Padres agreed, it probably was not the best move they've ever made.
Yes, yes. At least there was some recognition that it wasn't the best. But the Cardinals, before the game yesterday, Clayton Kershaw was set to start. The Cardinals video team played a video from more than a decade ago. The Cardinals showed Matt Adams hitting a go-ahead 3-run homer off Kershaw in Game 4 of the NLDS in 2014, helped the Cardinals to a 3-2 win that day and eliminated the Dodgers. Kershaw took notice and was not happy. Via the Los Angeles Times, he says, it's a little bush league, but I don't expect anything less from these guys.
Ooh.
So it's no worries, no problem.
Fair comment by Kershaw there, I got to say.
Yes. He did win yesterday, so it
got the win. He got the
him.
last laugh on that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the guy hit a home run off of him a decade ago in a playoff, and you're going to run that before he goes out to the mound. I mean, who thinks this stuff through?
Apparently
a lot of people. Nobody.
Oh, no, thinks it through? No. Yeah, I don't have a problem with this. This was something that actually happened. Like,
so what?
Like, if we're going to have a problem with anything...
Cheap shot.
Well, no, I'm not saying it's not a cheap shot. But if you're Clayton Kershaw, don't you just go out there and do your thing instead of say, it's a little bush league?
Well, they asked him about it.
Okay, fine. You're right.
He's answering the question.
You're right.
I don't think he tracked down the reporter and said, hey, I'd like to say something about that.
I would like to comment on this.
Right?
Okay,
I mean,
fine.
They asked him. He said, yeah, it's a little bush league. I don't think he's wrong.
All right, I agree with you. I agree with you. But I guess they ended up looping it a couple times. Now that is
so they kept running it over and over again?
That is Bush League.
Yeah, it's just weak.
I don't know if that's Twitter fodder, but I did read in multiple places that they put it over and over. But probably not the best idea to put that up on the board and fire up the guy you're about to face.
Even if that doesn't matter anymore, it's just weak. It's a weak move. Please.
I don't have a problem with
Kershaw's a Hall of Fame pitcher.
So what? He gave up the home run. It happened. There's video evidence of it, and they showed it. And it eliminated the Dodgers from the playoffs. The Cardinals kept going. Cardinals did not win the World Series that year, though.
Go ahead, Skrabe. What else you got?
All right.
I'm not going to argue on this.
Marlins pitcher Ryan Weathers. Well, I saw a big thing go across
former Padre pitcher.
Yes. MLB Network, big thing on the bottom saying Ryan Weathers has been moved to the 60-day IL. And I was like, wow, he must have really got hurt yesterday, because if you didn't know, he was warming up yesterday and he threw one of those pitches, and then the catcher throws it down the second. Ryan Weathers just kind of turns around like he always does.
Oh, I didn't know that it was a firing throw. I thought he just lobbed it back and it conked him on the head.
No, Chris.
I get what you said. No, I know what happened now. I get it. So he was throwing through to second base.
Yeah, he's throwing down the second.
Turned around and the ball hit him in the head.
No, the ball
fast throw.
The ball hit him in the back of the head.
Yeah,
and he went down like a potato sack.
Okay, I got you. Yeah,
and so he ended up,
so I get it now that he's on the injured list for a while, sure.
But he's not on the injured list for anything head-related. He was cleared of a concussion. He also went 3 innings. He said after the game that he felt worse as the game was going on. He said he felt very disconnected out there. He said it was kind of like that episode of SpongeBob where like everything's on fire inside of his brain, and I just felt like I was in pure chaos after that happened. So it was kind of the right time to come out.
Interesting
of the
that
game
he should be thinking of SpongeBob. But
That's why I read it. That's why I read it. But he went on the 60-day IL for a lat strain. So completely unrelated, but he's on the 60-day IL for that.
Honestly, this is weird. I'm surprised more pitchers don't get hit by.
I agree.
Catchers throws through.
I agree. And those catchers they're firing it down there,
and it's getting the ball. The throws are getting lower and lower, like because they're more on a line now.
Yes.
So the pitcher has to be alert. But in this case, you throw the last warm-up pitch, you walk off the mound, you turn around, you're getting ready to pitch the inning, and the ball hits you in the back of the head. That's the catcher.
Yes.
Like, dude, come on.
The catcher, like you can see the catcher react, and he's just like,
can't make that mistake there.
All right, last story. Shiloh Sanders, son of Deion Sanders, used to play at Colorado. He gifted the entire Colorado football team Apple Watches. And those are very expensive.
Are they? How much?
Well, it depends on which one he got.
You wouldn't know because you don't.
No, but my Google Watch was like $300.
Wow.
So buy a whole football team which is not just 50 players, more than that. But here's the problem, Chris. Shiloh Sanders owes someone $11.8 million in a lawsuit. He assaulted a janitor at Dallas High School in 2015, and he didn't even show up to like the court hearing. So the judge ruled in favor of the plaintiff, who was the janitor, and he is owed that $11.8 million. So people are asking, how is Shiloh Sanders buying all these watches when he owes someone $11.8 million? I have the same questions, Chris. I have the same questions. But this article from Buffalo's Wire says,
if he didn't buy all the watches, he'd only owe $11.7 million.
So no, 11.5 probably. But he shouldn't be buying watches and then telling everybody about it, because this guy said, I'm going to come after my money for the rest of his life.
Finally, the Dodgers and Padres meet. Game 1 of 13 this regular season. Who knows how many more after that? Sam Levitt has the pregame show. Skraby, good to have you back.
You too.
For Tony, it's me.
It's me.
And sit back and enjoy some fun baseball. Hopefully, we'll talk to you tomorrow. We'll be in first place.
All right. Bye.